And I want to see you there. And if not, remember, I got a guy, and he's a Navy SEAL. See you then.
There's nothing quite like local. Local is your weekly farmer's market or homemade strawberry ice cream. It's live music on the corner, yoga in the park, and a chance to try something new. That's why AARP is local, right here in our community, offering free events and enriching experiences that can help with finances, family, and fun. Join AARP Philadelphia on June 25th for a free virtual floral arrangement session with Longwood Gardens. Learn more at aarp.org/local.
Just like our offensive line protects our star quarterback, plumbers protect the health of the nation, and Philadelphia Plumbers Union Local 690 is no different. In hospitals, commercial, industrial, and residential, with the best trained plumbers in the world, you can be sure your project is done on time and on budget, no matter how big or small. So when your business needs to build new or expand existing facilities, you can count on the members of Plumbers Union Local 690. Visit plumbers690.org.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new brick you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-505-1608. 800-505-1608. 800-505-1608.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our Timeshare Exit Information Kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I'm Jimmy Fallon.
I'm Rachel Campos Duffy.
I'm Will Kane, and this is the Fox News Rundown.
Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. I'm Jessica Rosenthal. He's got 3 days to see if he can qualify for the debate stage, but RFK Jr. isn't stressing too much as he claims he'll be on every state ballot by the fall.
The DNC has $3 billion. And they've deployed a lot of that money to try to keep me off the ballot.
We speak with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
I'm Dave Anthony. Should we treat social media like cigarettes? There is a call for warning labels to help protect kids.
When you talk in, purely scientific terms about what's going on in their brains, this is a 5-alarm fire.
And I'm Tammy Bruce. I've got the final word on the Fox News Rundown.
The The first presidential debate is June 27th, but candidates have until this Thursday to qualify for it. Now, in terms of getting on state ballots, in the case of independent candidate RFK Jr., his campaign insists they have the needed signatures for several states, but they've typically been waiting until the last minute to submit them. Campaign spokesman Del Bigtree explained to this podcast a few weeks ago why.
Our strategy is to hold on. In many states, we're holding signatures as we speak. In fact, we've got 8 states ready to go, but as soon as you turn them in, then they come under attack by those that are going to try and strike them down.
Qualifying for next week's CNN debate means a candidate must have received 15% in 4 national polls and be on the ballot in enough states to get 270 electoral college votes. It's not impossible, but it is growing less and less likely. While the Biden campaign has held events with members of the Kennedy family who back the president rather than Robert F. Kennedy Jr., former President Trump's campaign spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt has said he'd be happy to debate RFK.
This guy is as far left as you could get, especially on the issue of energy, which is the #1 reason that prices in this country have soared.
Fox News reports RFK Jr.'s qualified for the ballot in just 6 states so far, even if the campaign has the signatures to eventually qualify in more. Real Clear polling has RFK Jr.'s unfavorable rating at just over 43%. That's 8 points higher than his favorable rating. And the last Fox News polls of swing states have Robert F. Kennedy Jr. coming in with 8% in Arizona, 7% in Nevada, just 7% in Florida, and 9% in Virginia.
The hard part now will be within 4 weeks, we'll have all the signatures that we need to be on the ballot in every state.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is an independent candidate for president.
That was something that people said we could not do, and it's clear that we're going to accomplish it. The polling, I think, show us in single digits. Every poll we've seen that shows us in single digits use a deceptive methodology. What they do is they ask the subjects whether they favor Biden or Trump or other, and if they select other, then they're sent to a different field where they're given a choice between me and Cornel West and Jill Stein. And that's not a conventional way to take a poll. The conventional way would be to ask the subjects the same question that they would see when they get into the voting booth. And when they do that, my polling comes up between 15% and 25%. So it's I can't assess the polls that you're talking about without actually looking at the crosstabs. We've seen a number of the big polling companies adopt that methodology over the past 3 months, and consistently they drop my poll the single digits. When the polling company does it both ways, as Quinnipiac did, I poll in single digits when they use the deceptive methodology, and poll in double digits, high teens, low 20s, when they ask the poll the conventional way.
I wanted to get your reaction to. I saw some people in New York are suing you. 2 people who say that the signatures your campaign gathered, they say they're invalid for various reasons. But these 2 people are backed by the DNC. And I'm just wondering if you care to respond to that and to the DNC being involved.
The DNC, we expect the DNC is $3 billion. So, and they've deployed a lot of that money to trying to keep me off the ballot. We expect them to bring litigation in many states, if not all the states. Every lawsuit they brought today, we have beaten them on. We think these are specious lawsuits that have no chance of succeeding. We were required to get 45,000 signatures in New York. We got 137,000. The DNC tried to sabotage us by deploying a contract company that actually was fraudulently collecting signatures. They collected about 37,000 signatures with easily discernible fraud, and we fired that company and we threw out their signatures. We got 137,000 signatures from our volunteers and from other paid vendors, and they're, any challenge to those signatures is going to fail.
Somehow in this campaign, you found the time to make this documentary, Recovering America, and it's focusing on something that, we should all be talking about. A lot of us are talking about it, the overdose crisis, drug addiction. I specifically have heard you talk about a lack of community. I don't know if that was in reference to addiction, but I wanted your thoughts on how this crisis intersects with our communities, or a lack of community in many cases.
Yeah, I mean, particularly with the younger generation, Gen X, the millennials, they're growing up in a completely different world and environment than I grew up in. They're growing up with social media. They're growing up with a completely different expectations from their country. In 2013, there was a poll taken of American young people under 35 years of age. And they were asked one question: are you proud of the United States? And 85% said yes. The same poll taken 5 months ago of under 35s, only 18% said yes. So you have 82% of young people who say that they're not proud of our country, and they have very little hope for their future, and they feel like the American dream has been the promise of the American dream is a broken promise. They're not going to be able to afford a home. They're going to live lives that are very diminished from the lives that their parents lived. Suicide is the second highest cause of death now in that generation. And the fentanyl crisis and drug overdoses killed 106,000 of them, about double just in 1 year. Last year, double the number of kids that were killed, American kids, during the 20-year Vietnam War. The underlying crisis, the crisis of alienation, of dashed expectations, of hopelessness, of dispossession, of marginalization, and a complete separation from community.
Yeah.
And one of the programs that I'm going to initiate, that's going to be my Peace Corps program, is to establish rural farms, wellness farms, and recovery farms in rural areas all over this country. The biggest industry in rural areas now is prisons. And I'm going to change that and put these recovery farms all over the country where there will be no screens. So the social media, people will actually have to talk to each other. There'll be no PCs, no telephones. They will grow organic food, good, high-quality food, and they will learn a trade.
Kennedy's solution to the overdose and drug crisis comes from the mind of a former addict. He himself used heroin for years following his father's death and is still active in recovery. Now, while healing centers where one can farm and garden might work, they also might take a bit of time to get going. Meanwhile, many of the drugs fueling our addiction crisis come to us from Mexico, especially fentanyl. And when it comes to the border, Kennedy's position has evolved into a tougher one.
I would close the border overnight. I secure the border overnight. I think we need to have a humanitarian, compassionate immigration policy that reflects our values. But that means people coming in legally, waiting in line, and I think should have wider gates, that we should have an easier path to citizenship for people who come in legally. But a country can't survive if it does not have secure borders. And right now, the border policy is being run by the Sinaloan drug cartels, and they're advertising on YouTube. I've spent a lot of time at the border. I watch and on one of my visits between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., 300 people walk across the border, brought there by buses, 55 people in a bus. These brand new, beautiful buses that are owned by the drug cartels. People were coming from, the first 110 people who came across were all young men from West Africa, military age. I interviewed the next two buses, so about 110 people, and they were all from Asia with two exceptions. There was one family from Colombia, one from Peru. Those are the only Latin Americans I saw all night. The Sinaloa drug cartel is advertising on YouTube and TikTok all over the world, and you pay $10,000 and they guarantee you they can get you into our country. And the people who come across, many of them have been robbed, they've been raped, they've been brutalized, beaten, extorted by the cartels. Anybody who thinks that this is a humanitarian enterprise is wrong. And then the Border Patrol has been asked not to do its job, but to transport all of these new immigrants, undocumented, to give them each one an asylum court date that's 7 years in the future, and then bring them to the Yuma airport and put them on an airplane to any destination they want in the United States. And if they don't have the money, which many of them don't because they've been robbed by the cartels on their way over, and the Border Patrol pays for their ticket and gets reimbursement from FEMA, it's literally the most insane thing I've seen a government do in my lifetime. And these undocumented aliens are crushing the social safety net in our cities. The social service systems are overwhelmed. I toured a rape center in Utah, which specializes in young kids being raped, because there's so many coming over who have been raped by the cartels and victimized by predators. I also went to local hospitals. The beds in the maternity ward were 100% filled with immigrants, and the local people could not get into those beds to have induced births and to get pregnancy services.
Wow.
So, and Yuma is a border town, and it is getting destroyed by this. The kindest people in the world there are very, very proud of the Americans who are meeting these and meeting these new immigrants with compassion. But it's unfair to them, and now every city in our country is now a border town because the number of immigrants coming across it's destructive for our country. And I'll end it overnight. I'm going to send 300 asylum court judges to the border. I'm going to hire 2,000 new Border Patrol, and I'm going to improve the morale on the Border Patrol by allowing them to actually do their job. I'm going to end the catch and release program. I'm going to restate the Migrant Protection Act, which requires individuals who come from other countries to Mexico with asylum claims seeking to get to the United States, they adjudicate those claims in Mexico, not in our country. And I'm going to fix the fences. I'm going to plug the 27 gaps in the wall, and we're going to do it very, very quickly. And then I'm going to issue passport cards to all Americans who can't afford them. So you can go to your post office, you can get a federally issued photo ID, and you won't be able to work in this country without that ID. The ID is not going to have your medical records. It won't have any other of your information.
Wow.
But we need a federal ID. We need government issued ID that's easily attainable. So that everybody in this country can have ID. Everybody can show ID at a voting booth. Everybody can show ID to get a job. And you won't, right now it's illegal for employers to employ undocumented aliens. But there's a loophole, which is the only thing they have to show is a Social Security card. And Social Security cards are absolutely simple to fabricate. They have no photo on them. They're passed hand to hand at work sites in New York, for example, construction sites. And the employees are then paid in cash. And the employer is not liable because he says he saw the Social Security card.
Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, we had to edit our conversation with RFK Jr. for time. You can hear our entire conversation, though, this Saturday on the Fox News Rundown Extra. You can find that by going to foxnewsrundown.com.
Rich Cioli, afternoons 3 to 7, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Appliance, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Do these 3 words make you cringe? Calcium oxalate stones. If so, then this message will be a huge relief, because now there's a kidney health supplement that has shown in laboratory tests to reduce the rate of calcium oxalate crystal growth by 99%. That's right, 99%. It's called Kidney Cop, Calcium Oxalate Protector, and nothing else comes close to its success. In fact, it has a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Kidney Cop is so innovative, it's been awarded 5 U.S. patents, is recommended by doctors and pharmacists, and is winning rave reviews from people all over the country. You can be one of them. Kidney Cop is super affordable. You can purchase affordable Kidney Cop today by visiting Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or KidneyCop.com. If you cringe when you hear the words calcium oxalate and you worry about reoccurrence, then you need Kidney Cop right away. Purchase Kidney Cop today at Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or KidneyCop.com.
These statements have not been reviewed by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Sponsored by Calcium Oxalate Labs, Inc.
Are you tired of dealing with those old, inefficient windows in your house? Well, maybe it's time to go Guida. How about that drafty, beat-up-looking entry door you've painted over more times than you can count? Well, go Guida. Need added protection from the elements with a new storm door? Go Guida. And what about that sliding patio door or garage door you've been meaning to replace? Go Guida. Whatever your home improvement needs are, I suggest you go Guida with the great people at Guida Door and Window. To help you get your project started, Guida is offering 20% off all windows and doors while allowing you to start your project with no money down and up to 3 full years to pay it off interest-free. That's right. Receive 20% instant savings with the luxury of paying off your project interest-free for up to 36 months. Restrictions apply, offers for a limited time, so what are you waiting for? It's time you finally go Guida. Call today to schedule a free in-home estimate at 1-877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go, GUIDA.com.
Don't walk around with T-shirts and cover-ups at the pool or the beach this summer. Lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. Lose weight the natural way quickly and safely. Locations close by or available worldwide with live online video consultations. Get slimmer before the summer and without any shots. Call 855-5NJ-DIET to lose 20 to 40-plus pounds in only 40 days guaranteed. NJDiet.com. Lose the weight for good.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Using meth taught me everything about freedom, only not like you think. It taught me how easy it is to lose your freedom. If you think meth is taking control of you, ask for help. You have the power to be truly free. I know. I'm Jan, and I'm free from meth.
If you or someone you know is struggling with meth, call 1-800-662-HELP for 24-hour free and confidential treatment referral. Learn more at samhsa.gov/meth.
calling on Levittown.
Hello there.
To follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Now, a look at what's happening from the Fox News Rundown.
It's Tuesday, June 18th. This is the Fox News Rundown. President Biden expected to announce new policy today for 490,000 migrants in the country illegally. They'll be allowed to apply for a parole-in-place program to keep them from being deported. Those in the country more than 10 years will be given work permits. Former President Donald Trump returns to Wisconsin for his third rally in the battleground state this year. And Russian President Putin is in North Korea for a meeting with leader Kim Jong-un. I'm Sue Guzman on the Fox News Rundown.
This is the Fox News Rundown.
Wake up with Kayal Company. Mornings 6 till 10. Talk Radio 1210. Join Team Kayal & Company once again this year for the Bend to Shore Bike Tour on Sunday, July 21st. From Philly to Atlantic City, you can do the ride or just donate to support the cause. Visit bendtoshore.org. That's shore.org. Let's show everyone how WPHT and Odyssey supports law enforcement. Bend to Shore is organized by Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation. FBBCF provides financial relief for the families of fallen and injured first responders and supports the Police Youth Alliance, which fosters a positive relationship between police and youth. Sponsored by Gelman Law. Need a criminal defense attorney or personal injury? Visit GelmanLawFirm.com.
It'll be totally tubular at Chick-fil-A 1980s Retro Night on Thursday, July 11th at 6:05 when the Phils host the Dodgers. And kids 14 and under receive a Phillies bullpen cart. Secure your seats today at Phillies.com. End your Thursday with a bang at an Xfinity fireworks show you won't want to miss on Thursday, June 27th following the Phils game against Miami starting at 6:20. Snag tickets now at Phillies.com.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
A promise is potent, born of intention, fueled by commitment. It's seeing things through, always showing up. And we know a thing or two about promises here at Susan G. Komen. Over 40 years ago, we locked arms with you toward one vision: a world without breast cancer. By investing in life-saving research and standing up for patient rights, we are shifting the system so all people everywhere get the care they deserve. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to raise money to honor the best friend you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Ending breast cancer needs all of us. Visit Komen.org and be a part of the Susan G. Komen community today.
So, what's the asking price on this house?
You'd probably be more comfortable living somewhere else.
How long a lease is the landlord looking for?
Well, I'm sure you can afford to live here, but...
What are the schools like in this district?
Yeah, we have twins in the 5th grade.
This neighborhood isn't really for your kids. You know what I mean?
If you're Black, Latino, Asian American, or Middle Eastern, and a real estate agent or rental agent says anything like this, you know what it means. You're being discriminated against. Housing discrimination because of race, color, or national origin is against the law. If you believe you've experienced housing discrimination, contact HUD. Go to HUD.gov/fair housing. That's HUD.gov/fair housing. Fair housing. The law is on your side. A message from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Free speech lives here with Don Stenslin weekdays 10 till noon. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
On Wall Street Monday, the Dow up 189, its first end-of-day gain in 5 sessions. The Nasdaq up 168 for its 6th straight record close, 19th record close of the year, finishing over 17,900 for the first time ever. The S&P 500 up 42 for its 30th record close of the year. The markets will be closed tomorrow for Juneteenth. Today, we get retail sales numbers for May. GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen said during a shareholder meeting Monday the video game retailer will focus on cutting costs and long-term profitability. Store closures could take place. GameStop shares down more than 12% following the meeting. And Restaurant Business Magazine reports McDonald's is planning to end its artificial intelligence-powered automated drive-through order-taking experiment at more than 100 locations. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Kevin Uretsky. Invested in you.
This is the Fox News Rundown.
He has already called mental health problems in young Americans the defining public health crisis of our time. Now the U.S. Surgeon General calls it an emergency.
When adolescents spend more than 3 hours a day on social media, we're seeing an association with a doubling of risk of anxiety and depression symptoms. And the average amount of use per day among adolescents is nearly 5 hours.
Dr. Vivek Murthy on NBC's Today Show, after writing in the New York Times that it's time to put warning labels on social media platforms.
And we have data from tobacco warning labels that in fact tells us that they can be helpful in changing awareness and changing behavior. Keep in mind, when Congress authorized these labels for tobacco more than half a century ago, or nearly half a century ago, the smoking rate in America was above 40%. Today, it's under 12%.
So Surgeon General Murthy hopes Congress authorizes these labels for social media, though there is no legislation yet to do that.
So I think this is actually eminently sensible. You have the verdict coming in very clear when it comes to habitual use of these platforms.
Kara Frederick is director of the Tech Policy Center at the Heritage Foundation.
You know, it's funny. Mark Zuckerberg stood up in front of the House and a little bit while ago in February, and he said there's no scientific evidence that these products are bad for children. But he's wrong. Plain and simple. You probably got to fire those staffers at that point, because the studies have come flooding in. And just to name a few, the University of North Carolina had a group of neuroscientists that found back in January of 2023 that habitual social media use was rewiring the brains of children as young as 12 years old. And you have other studies like in Cambridge University in March of 2022 saying that there's an inverse relationship between social media use and life satisfaction in sensitive portions and periods of adolescence.
When you talk about rewiring the brain, that's what drugs do. That's like an actual addiction, correct?
Oh, precisely. And we don't even talk about things like the consciences of children and the souls of children. So when you talk in, purely scientific terms about what's going on in their brains, this is a 5-alarm fire in and of itself. And that's not even to mention, what it's doing to who they become as people growing up and how just generally fit they are to engage the world. And when children are warped to this degree at that such a young age, this is a massive problem that parents, frankly, like myself, need help with.
Now, in 2022, Pew Research did a survey of American teenagers and their parents. Almost 60% say social media helps teenagers feel more accepted, and that they have people who support them through tough times. 2/3 say that. 71% say that social media gives them a place to show their creative side. And 4 in 5 say it gives them more ability to connect with what's going on in their friends' lives. Those are good things, right?
I think in 2024, those numbers have been rendered bankrupt. And again, these studies that I surfaced are a lot more recent. So you can have, a lot of those big tech talking points where I used to work at Facebook, and the original goal of Facebook was to connect community and whatnot. And now, we know that that's not the case necessarily. It's to, increase their bottom line and their growth at all costs. And yes, while there are some good things that can come of these platforms, I would echo what Senator Lindsey Graham said in that February hearing that I invoked as well. He said, for all the upside, the dark side is just too great to live with. And I believe that that's borne out by the evidence of our eyes and our ears. These studies by legitimate neuroscientists and researchers notwithstanding, you go to dinner and kids' faces are in their phones. They don't look people in the eyes anymore. They don't understand how to, as I said before, engage the world in a way where they're equipped to handle all of these things. Their brains are actively being changed for ill.
There is a book out, The Anxious Generation, and the psychologist who wrote it points to the iPhone's release in 2007 as an inflection point in our society and our lives. Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And one of the biggest pieces of evidence, again, having lived in Silicon Valley myself and worked at a big tech company, is understanding what these executives do with their own children. Steve Jobs famously didn't give his daughter an iPad. Sundar Pichai told the New York Times in 2018 that he would not let his son, then a preteen, use his own products. You look at what they do, and they very much understand what this does to their own children's brains and want them to keep these products at arm's length. I think that is all you really need to say.
Okay. Now, how do the algorithms actually work? What is it that's behind the science that gets these children, adults get hooked on this stuff too, that gets us watching these videos, getting on social media and not wanting to put the phone down?
These platform designers, as alleged by 42 states, they intentionally target children with addictive features. So according to these states, they filed a lawsuit against Meta. They basically said when teens are vulnerable, there are little inferences and what a lot of people don't know is internal tools that these platforms use to get their attention, to figure them out, to build digital profiles. And once those digital profiles are built, they feed back into the machine, so to speak, and they basically start to target that particular segment of users and figure them out and feed them more and more, let's say, incendiary information that keeps them more and more addicted. It maximizes their engagement in tech speak.
Okay. I want to focus on one of these social media companies. We've all heard a lot about TikTok in recent months. Congress passed, the president signed into law, a potential ban on the company unless it gets rid of its Chinese ownership. The FBI's director, Christopher Wray, he's called TikTok a national security threat. And this is what he said at a House hearing in January.
It's a combination of the ability that the Chinese government would have to, if they choose to exercise it, to control the collection of the data, to control the recommendation algorithm, and if they wanted to be able to control and compromise devices.
Now, Kara, I want your reaction to that in a moment. I also want you to hear TikTok's CEO's response to the new law back in April, Shou Chu. He insists they're not Chinese-owned. They do not share data with China.
TikTok gives everyday Americans a powerful way to be seen and heard. And that's why so many people have made TikTok part of their daily lives. Rest assured, we aren't going anywhere. We are confident and we will keep fighting for your rights in the courts.
What do you think?
I think, put simply, Christopher Wray is correct, and Shou Chu is trying to cover his rear end, especially when it comes to the Chinese Communist Party, because TikTok gave the game away when they filed a lawsuit against the U.S. government a few months back after the bill was signed into law in April, and they even said that the Chinese government would not permit divestment of the recommendation engine that is key to its success in the United States of America. They also have a Chinese Communist Party internal committee within ByteDance, as well as hundreds of hires that previously worked for Chinese state media arms. And then you add whistleblower documentation to that, saying that the Chinese Communist Party, China, has supreme access to U.S. user data. And the list really goes on and on of evidence. We're on firm national security ground here when we say TikTok is beholden to the Chinese Communist Party. Doesn't matter what Shou Chu says to try to, frankly, keep himself safe from his CCP minders.
Okay, back to the warning label idea for TikTok or any of these social media platforms. The concept being it would make parents more aware. How exactly would it do that? I mean, the kids are the ones on the phones a lot more than the parents looking at all the videos and responding to friends. So what would a warning label really do?
As parents, we want more information. We think that's better. In particular, we know these companies try to hide some of the more noxious effects of their platform. So getting all of that out there, I think, is very, very helpful. I think you got to layer these solutions with potential, legislative proposals, like policies that they're winding their way through Congress right now, like the Kids Online Safety Act. You basically have to do everything you can when it comes to children creating fake Instagram accounts, Finstas, to get around these existing parental controls, and then give parents information, because I hear a lot from our conservative side that, this is a parent issue. It's not a government issue. It's both. It's both. Parents are outgunned in a very real way by these programmers, by these tech companies, and kids, as Vivek Murthy said, the Surgeon General earlier, are not going to win in a fight against programmers that are deliberately designing these products to maximize their attention. So we need everything we can get: accountability, transparency, enhanced platform and parent controls, and recourse, frankly, when these companies attempt to circumvent a lot of those issues.
Kara Frederick, Director of the Tech Policy Center at the Heritage Foundation, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Anytime.
Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our Timeshare Exit Information Kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-568-3344. 800-568-3344. 800-568-3344.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Appliance, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
It feels great relaxing at home.
You know what feels even better? Turning our home into a big piggy bank with a fixed-rate home equity loan from First Harvest Credit Union. Rates are as low as 5.99% APR. We can get the cash we need for a new car, the kids' tuition, a kitchen remodel.
You're right.
Of course I'm right.
Get details and apply online at firstharvestcu.com/home equity.
Membership restrictions apply. Rate based on individual credit analysis is accurate as of May 1st, 2024 and subject to change. Equal housing lender. Insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano inviting you to join me in Wildwood at Mulligan Shore Bar this Friday, June 21st, to celebrate Dom Giordano Day in Wildwood. We have an action-packed day planned, national guest of honor Scott Presler joining us, lots of local guests, and of course, entertainment by Burning Sky, the ultimate Bad Company tribute band. It'll be a great day in Wildwood. Blow off work Friday. Join me at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood starting at noon. Mulligan's at 310 West Hildreth Avenue in Wildwood. Details at 1210WPHT.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com. Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real. It happens every day.
You can recover.
Discover hope and help.
Never give up on yourself.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Fox News, I'm Sue Guzman. President Biden expected to announce a sweeping new policy today for about 490,000 people in the country illegally. Those married to U.S. citizens without documentation will be allowed to apply for a parole-in-place program that'll keep them from being deported. It will also offer work permits if they've lived in the U.S. for at least 10 years. This is new figures from Immigration and Customs Enforcement indicated there were 7.4 million cases of illegal border crosses currently pending. Heat wave is stretching from the Midwest to the East Coast, and millions of people are affected.
New York Mayor Eric Adams announced in a press conference New York City will be opening up its cooling centers tomorrow. Meanwhile, cities like Philadelphia taking similar action.
Fox Weather's Nicole Valdez and the Boston Celtics win their 18th NBA championship. America's listening to Fox News.
Is the Fox News Rundown. Now a look at sports.
The Celtics were the best NBA team all season, and they will now forever be remembered as NBA champions. Boston defeated the Mavericks 106-88 in Game 5 to win the NBA title for the first time since 2008. It's the 18th title in Celtics history, passing the Lakers for the most championships by an NBA organization. The Celtics duo of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum finally got over the hump, combining for 52 points in the win. Brown was named the most valuable player of the finals in Boston's second appearance in the last 3 seasons. Head coach Joe Mazzulla is the youngest head coach since Bill Russell in 1969 to win a title. That's sports. On the Fox News Rundown, I'm Joe Morgan, Fox News.
Now
An update from Outkick's Hot Mic.
3.6 million viewers for a major sport championship series is bad. And the fact that you're bragging and ESPN's bragging about a 46% increase from game 2 of a year ago between the Vegas Golden Knights and your Florida Panthers. Who cares, dude? We're not talking about it because not enough people care about this sport right now. It's a Canadian sport. It's not one that's got major popularity in the United States. It is a niche sport. I hate that because I respect the hell out of dudes who play hockey. Some tough guys are in that sport. It is a fun sport to watch in the playoffs. I respect the hell out of a Stanley Cup champion. But let's not act like they're just killing it over there at ESPN and with hockey ratings everywhere. I'm Chad Withrow with Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow on the Fox News Rundown.
Before I went to law school, I worked for the telephone company and was a card-carrying member of CWA and AFL-CIO. Unions play a powerful role in protecting workers' rights. I spent a lot of time in union halls building this firm 30 years ago. We represented many union members and workers, and I call many across the country my brothers and sisters. If you ever need our help, we're just a call away. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
A heat advisory will be in effect in our area starting this morning. South Jersey Democratic power broker George Norcross and his associates are facing racketeering charges. And President Biden is expected to announce a new policy that would offer legal status to hundreds of thousands of migrants.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Hey folks, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back. But what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at the Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word HEDGE to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantage status. So text HEDGE to 989898. That's HEDGE to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Who said sustainable can't be stylish? All fans will receive a stylish and sustainable Phillies cap presented by PGW on Friday, July 12th at 6:40 when the A's visit CBP. Snag your seats today at Phillies.com. Say cheese! Coca-Cola Photo Day is back on Saturday, July 13th before the Phillies host Oakland at 4:05. Don't miss out on your chance to snap photos of your favorite Phils. Get tickets now at Phillies.com.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-353-9057. 800-353-9057 or biglou.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ready? Go.
Okay, doctor.
Operation.
No, the most amazing care.
They changed my life. Sinus Hospital for Children! Because people just like you, kids like me, can play in the game of life. Thank you! Go to lovetrends.org right away. Thank you!
This is a consumer alert to all U.S. taxpayers who owe the IRS back taxes or have unfiled tax returns. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, you can now take advantage of active programs that provide relief to struggling taxpayers and may reduce or eliminate what you owe if you qualify, even if you are facing liens, levies, audits, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan. Call the Easy Tax Relief Helpline now to check what savings you may qualify for at 800-505-8196. You may qualify to reduce up to 99% of what you owe or for other special programs. Once qualified and enrolled, you can rest assured that your assets are protected and all collection efforts will be stopped. Billions of dollars in savings are available through these relief programs for struggling taxpayers, but you must call to see if you qualify. To see what savings you qualify for, call 800-505-8196. 800-505-8196. That's 800-505-8196.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go. Live on this Tuesday, June 18th. It is indeed Kayal and Company right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We are always live on the free Odyssey app. And, of course, streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube as we head until 10 o'clock this morning. 855-839-1210, the phone number. On social media at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, Kayal. Don Stenzelin with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Phil Almquist, Henry Mashett, our associate producers. As we've got you for the next 4, there will be no deep fakes. There will be no cheap fakes. Just a big take, an occasional hot take, and from time to time, the occasional bad take. Don Stenzelin, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Happy Tuesday.
Gregory.
I'm sitting here watching. So Anthony Fauci's on his book tour now. So he did Rachel Maddow last night. He did Stephen Colbert, and the Senate today is the Senate panel is gonna probe the lab leak theory, and he's doing the cleanup tour beforehand, saying, "No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true." It's just unbelievable to me.
I always said it was a possibility.
All of this prime real estate this guy gets. It's unbelievable.
When's the podcast launch? And will Odyssey be sponsoring it?
Maybe. There's a good possibility.
Oh, we got a lot of good stuff to get to today. Should Joe stay or should he go? And apparently there's a secret plan in place.
Oh, here we go.
To replace Joe if 9 days from now just goes awry.
What social media influencer is floating that theory out there for clicks?
This was the Daily Mail.
Okay. Yeah.
Daily Mail.
Same thing.
We've got voter turnout trends to get to. Very interesting. Who's defending Trump supporters and which site is criticizing Republican voters? We'll get to that coming up. Also, some of the movement here in Pennsylvania. Scott Pressler yesterday giving an update as to all of the counties throughout the state of Pennsylvania that have gone from D to R in this calendar year alone. We'll hit on that. And enough speculation from talking heads and social media influencers. What do doctors actually think is going on with Joe Biden? We've got some medical analysis from multiple doctors in the neurological field. We'll give you that information. J.D. Vance, Kamala Harris, and Hillary Clinton in the news. And also the U.S. Surgeon General talking about social media and mental health warnings. Fascinating conversation that we will have on social media.
Warnings like cigarette warnings, like
that's the first
a skull and crossbone. This product may kill you.
If you're pregnant, do not smoke cigarettes. Shocking.
Another reason. It's like, hey, parents can't be parents, so let the government give you warnings.
Cut sheet and much, much more. But before we get to all of that, let's get to the news. Right off the top at 6:04, the great Dawn Stensland.
And good morning this Tuesday morning, June 18th, 72 degrees. Get ready for the heat and excessive heat warnings. We'll talk about the forecast. We are sponsored this Tuesday morning in Kayal & Company by Bounce Back Physical Therapy. Let's take you to Bucks County. We have new details on what appears to be a brutal murder of an elderly suburban woman. Police are saying the suspect in custody is her own adult son, who police say confessed to killing his mom in Bucks County. That was while being arrested for assaulting an officer, allegedly, in Washington, D.C. The victim, identified as 82-year-old Dolores Ingram, found dead inside a condo on Beacon Hill Drive. This is the Holland section of Northampton Township. So here's what went down. According to police, 49-year-old William Ingram, the victim's son, arrested by the police department in D.C. the same day as the homicide, Sunday. He's accused of assaulting a police officer, damaging a police vehicle with a skateboard before his arrest, 49 years old. According to the court documents, after he was taken into custody, this is in D.C., that's when he, according to investigators, said somebody should check on my mom, and that's back at the house in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And that is where they did the wellness check and found 82-year-old Dolores Ingram in a bloody, pool of her own blood, and just a tragic situation here. Neighbors shocked. Quiet, beautiful part of Bucks County. We're expecting an autopsy today. We're also expecting the DA, other officials, to hold a news conference sometime this morning to give us new details.
So he kills his mom and then tells the police that somebody should check on her.
And goes to D.C.
Yeah. Kills his mom, assaults a cop, and he's a skateboarder. Okay.
49 years old. Still living with mom. So
they should bludgeon him with the skateboard in the joint.
If he's guilty.
This is all alleged.
By the way, this is another case, because I know we didn't get to that Michigan story yesterday.
Yeah.
Another case of some 40-some-year-old person still living at home with mommy and daddy that ends up, either killing other people or injuring other people or killing their parents. Like this is if your child is 35 to 40 years old and still living at home, call the police.
Yes. What's the cutoff limit? Based on I get it, Bidenomics. Yeah, you might get out of college, you're in debt. What do you say, like 24, 25? You got to get the hell out?
30.
30?
But you're paying rent at 24 or 25, by the way. You're not staying for free.
Oh, this is just...
Yeah, my daughters better be gone the day they turn 18.
18.
Nobody's out at 18 anymore.
I know.
I got news for you.
I'm going to hit him with an invoice, too, on the way out.
Yeah, good luck with that. Mr. Tough Talk. You know where his girls are? You know where Nick Kale's twin daughters are? Right here on the pinky of the daughters.
I'll be seeing them tonight. I'm such a tough guy.
Yeah, Mr. Tough Guy. Oh, be a little baby girl. What can I get you? Right. Give me a break. We have George Norcross.
Uh-oh.
This is New Jersey power broker, as everybody calls him, Democrat. George E. Norcross, now charged, Norcross III, I should say, charged yesterday with racketeering and other crimes in connection with a waterfront redevelopment and the use of government-issued tax credits.
Old RICO charge. You can charge one, you can charge them all.
This is New Jersey Attorney General Matt. Remember Matt Platkin?
Yeah.
Remember him during
sure.
He was a very loyal individual to then Governor Phil Murphy during remember the Katie Brennan hearings?
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
And Matt was one of those accused of covering things up that he knew she had been sexually abused and that sort of thing. Well, now he's the Attorney General, Matt Platkin, and in Trenton held this big news conference accusing Norcross and 5 others. And obviously Norcross, a big name. He's a Democrat, but he is a big name in New Jersey, as you know, and in this area, not just as the former DNC Democratic National Committee member, one-time head of the Camden County Democrat Party, but also he was the one who backed then Governor Chris Christie, who ran against, right? Who ran Chris Christie. He backed him, worked with him, Republican.
Sloppy Chris Christie.
So I would think about that. And he also had backed others who challenged Murphy. So we'll talk about that moving forward. 5 alleged co-conspirators indicted here. Attorney General Matt Platkin unveiling the big indictments, which named Norcross's brother Philip, their longtime lawyer William Tambusi, former Camden Mayor Dana Red, all as co-defendants. This stems from 2012. 2013, Norcross sought to redevelop the waterfront in Camden. And obviously Camden, beautiful spot overlooking Philadelphia at that point, had the highest crime rates in the nation, not so much anymore. But the 111-page indictment unsealed yesterday, alleging that he threatened a developer who would not relinquish his rights to waterfront property, and that Norcross allegedly used political influence to orchestrate all the tax incentives to be enacted that would, of course, benefit organizations that he controlled.
I wonder if he had a brunch recently with a Bob Menendez by chance. Just, thoughts bouncing around in my head here.
So a lot of Jersey politics here. So we'll go through this one. Let's talk about what else is going on as we think about our region. A lot happening with Sherelle Parker, our mayor, busy yesterday announcing the 75 new police recruits, now sworn in officially as Philadelphia police officer. They graduated as the Philadelphia Police Department continues a major push in recruitment. Currently, the department's still a little over 1,000 officers short of approved staffing levels. We've talked a lot about this. I would say, many people yesterday were saying the defund the police movement is dead in Philadelphia, and this is a great sign for that we have this graduating class. They're continuing to recruit, hopefully recruit more, but the department forecasts 350 hires this year before the year is done. And by the way, next week they start searching for new recruits to sign up.
Well, if my math is correct, by the year 2029, they'll be caught back up, assuming people don't leave.
And by the way, this week, that entire new class of law enforcement officers here in Philadelphia, they all go to Kensington. So this is a new type of strategy where everybody goes to Kensington, basically flooding Kensington with law enforcement.
We call that throwing you into the deep end on day one.
That's true.
Learn how to swim, Bubby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, thankfully, the Philadelphia pools are open this week, started yesterday. So thank goodness for that with the heat. We got to talk about Ben Salem Township voting in Bucks County to merge 6 of their legacy volunteer fire companies into one department. Officials are saying this will help with personnel issues and help save lives in cases of emergency with quicker response times. That's up for debate in Bucks County. Many residents looking at that one, but that's been Salem Township. And then as far as Philadelphia leaders gathering last night to swear in the city's newest fire commissioner. So Mayor Parker talking about her new choice to appoint Jeffrey Thompson to that position. Mayor Parker talking about Thompson, who succeeds acting commissioner Craig Murphy, who recently, of course, retired. So we have a new commish here in Philadelphia. Before I talk about the Heat, let's talk about the Heat is on with our Philadelphia Phillies.
By the way, I gave you Schwarber yesterday for an anytime home run.
You did.
I'll give you, so I got the U.S. Open, Schwarber.
Yeah.
I'll give you the Powerball numbers in a couple of days, and also give you the November 5th election in due time.
Kyle Schwarber, homer twice. Trey Turner had 2 hits in his return to the lineup. Philadelphia Phillies defeated Padres 9-2 last night.
I mean, think about that. 37 games, 38 games he missed, comes back like it's just like getting back on a bike.
Yep.
Just get right back on and start pedaling.
A nice standing ovation.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah,
nice welcome back.
You know, we've done a nice little 360 in the last calendar year as a city with our reputation. The way they handled Trey last year and, didn't do the typical booing and coddled him and gave him positive reinforcement. And he comes back and gets 2 hits.
Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, Brandon Marsh also had 2 hits apiece for the Phils. Castellanos, by the way, hit a pair of doubles. Harper and Marsh each had 1. I mean, they were just red hot. Good to be back home, and talked about London and felt like they had been on the road for months. So I just think it was one of those things where they just were like, woohoo, we're home.
Yeah, Padres are a spineless organization, by the way. All the talented players they have, and they're under 500. Yeah.
Well, we can boo them. 6:40 tonight. It's going to be hot. Let's talk about the forecast. Excessive heat warnings coming. Heat indices. We're talking about setting new records and all this good stuff. As the National Weather Service seriously alerts, we're under Code Red in Philadelphia. Code Red.
Great week to be carrying around couches.
Yeah. Ouch.
So what's your plan?
Not to die.
Stop.
Are you flying down there?
Flying down tonight and then driving up a big truck on Friday after 2 days of packing and then unloading and dumping it into a storage unit and then taking it out of a unit and putting it in the new place. I'll see you guys in September. This will be me in a couple of nights.
Good night, everybody.
Sorry.
My condolences.
Thank
That
you.
just sounds miserable.
It does.
But you know what? You'll feel like the Phillies when you finally you'll be like, woohoo, we're home. Like, I'm so glad to be home. You'll feel good in about a week.
What's the temperature? Like, I know it's hot here, but what's the temperature in Nashville right now?
It's a good question. Not sure. I haven't looked. I would assume if the Southeast is getting a heat wave as well, probably be 5 degrees hotter.
Oof.
Yeah,
Nice.
101, baby.
Sweet. One move from Nashville away from goal weight.
Oh, wait, hang on. So
What?
let's see. We have 88 Wednesday, 92 Thursday, 95 Friday, 94 Saturday.
That's Nashville?
Yep. That's
So
Nashville.
we're hotter than
we are
Nashville.
hotter than Nashville.
My timing is impeccable
by 2 degrees.
in many aspects.
So today and tomorrow, the temperature says in Philadelphia 91.
Yep.
It won't feel like 91 with the heat indices that we talk about. Thursday 93, Friday 96, Saturday 96, Sunday 94.
Good God.
Finally, Greg Stocker doing the rain dance finally gets a little rain next Monday.
Oh, next Monday.
Next Monday.
Oh, God, okay.
No rain till next Monday.
Oh, boy.
Yikes.
Turned my sprinklers on this morning before I left.
Yeah. Until they say, no more water in your
I was
yard,
just gonna
turn
say
it off.
But it's going to feel like 97 today. Excessive heat watch, dangerously hot conditions, heat index values up to 104 possible. So today I don't even think we're breaking the records. I think today the record was actually higher than it will be technically back in 1957.
Oh, that's good.
So at least we got that going for us.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Bounce Back Physical Therapy. Pain doesn't care about your age, gender, or sport, but Bounce Back does. At Bounce Back Physical Therapy in Wayne, Pennsylvania, they specialize in sports injuries and get you feeling better in as few as 3 visits. Covered by most insurance plans. Just visit bouncebackpt.com, bouncebackpt.com. Book an appointment today. Do it for you. Kayal & Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:17 on this Tuesday morning. Let's get to another Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal & Company.
And it is brought to you by Wawa. The Big Take, should he stay or should he go? We all know why Democrats and the Biden administration are giving America a debate so early on June 27th with no audience, muted microphones, and a home field advantage on CNN. It's a test. If the big guy can show that he's an IQ point above a radish in a salad, maybe the left and the liberal power brokers ride their shot horse to the finish line. If he fails to win the race against Trump before the American public in 9 days, they put him out to pasture and they go to the bullpen. Either way, they'll have about a month and a half to make the most important decision they've ever had to make. From the Russia hoax to the laptop from hell to 4 indictments, Democrats have thrown every single resource, legal and illegal, ethical and unethical, in the direction of stopping their biggest fear, Donald Trump. In their world, they cannot fail after almost 9 years of sabotage. The problem, much like with a lot of their policies, is they don't have a surefire solution. From decoy candidacies to secret plans to swap to family and health concerns to voter turnout, the drama and the pressure swirling the Biden campaign is taking twists and turns every single day. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, indicted 4 times, is currently dealing with who to select for vice president. It's almost as if the tables have been reversed when it pertains to who should be feeling the weight of the world. The National Review with this headline, quote, Joe Biden's decoy presidential candidacy. Charles Cook writes the following, quote, Biden is operating as a stand-in, a widget, or a MacGuffin, whose primary purpose is simply to make it to November 5th of this year without expiring. Per recent polling, 62% of voters think that if Biden gets reelected, he will die in office, with 86% saying he is too old to run. Cook goes on to write that Biden will be replaced upon being reelected. But if not his health, could it be his family that forces him to leave? Axios with this headline, Biden backstory runs darkened by family trauma and addiction. Alex Thompson writes, quote, the recent courtroom revelations about the turmoil in Joe Biden's family have left some of his aides torn about whether he should have run for president at all. And when you look at the polls, especially with the core-based Democrats have always enjoyed, it's a completely valid question. I want you to listen and watch this clip of CNN's Harry Enton yesterday on Monday, flummoxed over Donald Trump's polling and his support with black voters. This is part 1. Listen and watch.
I keep looking for this to change, to go back to a historical norm, and it simply put has not yet. So this is the margin, or Biden and Trump among black voters, compare where we were at this point in 2020, compare where we are now. You know, at this point, look at this. In 2020, Joe Biden was getting 86% of the African-American vote. Look at where it is now. It's 70%. That's a 16-point drop, John. And more than that, it's not just that Joe Biden is losing ground, it's that Donald Trump is gaining ground. You go from 7%, single digits at this point in 2020, to now 21%. And again, John, I keep looking for signs that this is going to go back to normal, and I don't see it yet in the polling. If anything, right now we're careening towards a historic performance for a Republican presidential candidate, the likes of which we have not seen in 6 decades. And when you
21%. If true, right on the money with my prediction. I've said for a while on this show that I think it'll be roughly 1 in 5 black voters, right around 20%. But let's go deeper into the shocking results. Here's part 2 of Harry Enton on CNN. Listen and watch.
Makeup of that number. This is where we get very interesting. So I decided to dive deeper into the crosstabs, figure out where is it that Joe Biden is truly struggling among black voters. All right, so this is black voters, Biden versus Trump margin. Look at black voters age 50 and older, and you'll see, look, Joe Biden was leading amongst this group at this point by 83 points back in 2020. Now it's 74 points. So yeah, a slight decline in that margin, but nothing out of this world. Look at black voters under the age of 50. Holy cow, folks, holy cow. Look at this. Joe Biden was up by 80 points among this group back at this point in 2020. Look at where that margin has careened down towards. It's now just, get this, 37 points. That lead has dropped by more than half, Mr. Berman. I just never seen anything like this. I'm like speechless, because you always look at history and you go, okay, this is a historic moment. If this polling is anywhere near correct, we are looking at a historic moment right now where black voters under the age of 50, which have historically been such a big part of the Democratic coalition, are leaving it in droves.
Young black voters do not connect with Joe Biden, in my personal opinion. And I'd love to see those numbers broken down even further with young black voters in their 20s, their 30s, and their 40s, which brings us to our next story. The Daily Mail with this headline, quote, "Secret Democrat plan to replace Biden has been revealed. How Clinton, Obama, Pelosi, and Schumer would topple the aging president and when they would do it." Here's an excerpt, quote, "But it seems no matter how much cold water the Biden campaign or Democratic Party throw on this raging fire of speculation, Americans will not be put off of the great Joe Biden replacement theory. It's the idea that somehow, some way, the president will be swapped out as the Democratic Party's candidate ahead of the 2024 election. Quote, dropping out would be a big risk, but there's some threshold below which continuing to run is a bigger risk. Polling guru Nate Silver wrote on social media, "Are we there yet? I don't know, but it's more than fair to ask." Former Clinton advisor and polling expert Mark Penn suggested that the CNN debate will be Biden's last chance to reassure voters that he is fit for the job. Now the Daily Mail has learned that if Joe stumbles in that first face-off with Trump, or if his polling numbers keep falling, it'll take a united front of the liberal elites to take and make Joe throw in the towel. The only people who could force him out would be Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer. One Democratic strategist telling the Daily Mail, quote, "It would have to be the four of them collectively, and the process would be high risk." One consultant theatrically described the difficulty level of replacing their candidate as similar to trying to turn that doomed container ship that careened into the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore in May. That sad story ended with a total collapse and 6 deaths. But other party insiders concede that the candidate swap could work if everything was carefully planned and executed. Political columnist Joe Klein theorized in a recent newsletter that if Biden were to stand down, a vigorous young candidate, don't ask me who, could win over the country with a single convention speech in August. In Klein's scenario, the Democratic Party savior would deliver an Obama-esque inspirational speech akin to Barack's famous 2004 Democratic Convention address that would quickly bring together disaffected Democrats and moderate independents. However, there's another potential complication. As the recognized leader of the Democratic Party, a stubborn Joe Biden could refuse to step down and fight on to Election Day, even as the party grows more exasperated with his performance. Biden is fiercely proud of his first-term accomplishments, which he dubiously boasts are more significant than any other modern president's triumphs. Though, to be fair, Biden was the one who beat Trump in 2020. Daily Mail continues by saying, additionally, while Biden respects former House Speaker Pelosi, Bill Clinton, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, there's a growing resentment of Obama, and it has become painfully clear. Another Democratic political insider believes that Harris, that's Kamala, has failed so badly as vice president that she has made it nearly impossible for Biden to step aside, because the party would then have to contend with progressive blowback over passing over the potential first black woman president. But if not Harris, then who? End quote. One of the things as clear as day, you have one scenario where Joe makes it and then steps aside, or he gets swapped out in August. One of two things bound to happen. Either Joe is going to stumble and then he gets switched out, or the Dems continue their elder abuse through November 5th, and then they make a 2025 swap at some point in year number 1 of term number 2. And then Joe says, look, I did what I said I would do. I'd beat Donald Trump again. And then he exits to spend time with his family, and he claims, America is in good hands. I've done my work. I can rest easy. But make no mistake about it, the pressure is on right now for Democrats. After 9 years of going after Trump, they can't make a mistake with who the nominee will be. And it's only going to intensify if the big guy freezes up again, or crashes and burns in 9 days. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
And it's brought to you by Wawa. Summertime is here, and so is Hoagie Fest. Did you guys know Hoagie Fest started yesterday? Yeah, that's why Schwarber went deep. Get $5 shorties and $6 classics, always built to order with meats, cheeses, and veggies that you love. Get your favorite hot or cold hoagie or try something new only at Wawa because Hoagie Fest is here. 855-839-1210 if you want to jump in on social media at 1210 WPHT. And, of course, let it rip in the Kayal and Company comment community on YouTube. The New York Times with a pro-Trump column, yet the Federalist bashes Republicans. We'll get to those stories as we continue. 6 o'clock hour on Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Got to talk about summer kicking off road trip season for so many of us. But do you really know if your vehicle is road trip ready? My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles are going to help you make sure you and your family are safe on the roads this summer. The service centers of the Piazza Premium dealers not only handle your regular maintenance needs, but also diagnose possible issues before they occur. Just schedule a service appointment online today. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com for that dealer nearest you across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, PIA, ZZA, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Tell Dawn sent you.
Two legends, one can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar are available in a can. Is there any better time than summer grilling season for a cold Jack and Coke? Jack and Coke in a can, born for the backyard. Available at your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store. Go to finewineandgoodspirits.com. Please drink responsibly.
Whiskey Specialty 7% ABV. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks of Jack Daniels Properties, Inc. Coca-Cola is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
Hugs from patients, like Patrick. It's something QC Kinetics medical professionals experience every day.
I hugged them. You should hug somebody who does that for you. They gave me my life back, and I really didn't know where I was going to go because I was definitely afraid of having a knee replacement done.
No surgery, no downtime with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. They give patients relief from joint pain using their own healing properties to repair and restore damaged tissue. And the results? Well, that's why we see a lot of hugs at QC Kinetics.
Everything is back that I thought I was never going to be able to do again. I'm still smiling, and sometimes it gets emotional. I get a tear in my eye because of how I was before I went in there.
Those smiles and hugs never get old at QC Kinetics. It means patients are finally getting relief. And now, it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation and see if you're a good candidate for these amazing treatments.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Get your child or grandchild ready for back to school. The summer is a great time to call Kathy Ganna and METC. Get a game plan in place for a great start to the new school year. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages to grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. And now's the time to get assistance for your child to help them succeed. Visit online at METC.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200.
Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
There's nothing quite like local. Local is your weekly farmer's market or homemade strawberry ice cream. It's live music on the corner, yoga in the park, and a chance to try something new. That's why AARP is local, right here in our community, offering free events and enriching experiences that can help with finances, family, and fun. Join AARP Philadelphia on June 25th for a free virtual floral arrangement session with Longwood Gardens. Learn more at aarp.org/local.
Get slimmer for the summer by losing a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or go to njdiet.com. Get ready for spring with njdiet.com.
Why shop at Gerhardt's Appliances? Since 1945, we've been the local appliance store known for our package deals, exclusive rebates, and personalized customer service. We have laundry pairs starting at $8.99, 4-piece stainless steel kitchen packages from $14.99, and free local shipping over $3.99. We service what we sell. We give back to our community and yours. So shop small and save big. Gerhardt's Appliances, the heart of Phillies kitchens for over 75 years.
At some point today, everybody will use a bathroom. But if you're a contractor, there's an excellent reason why right now you could use a lot of bathrooms. It's the Great Bathroom Break at Colonial Marble and Granite, where every vanity you buy comes with a free stone countertop and free sink. Classic, traditional, contemporary, in stock for pickup or ready to ship. Choose a color and style, get a surface and sink, and you're good to go. So get going. Colonial Marble and Granite, the cornerstone of a beautiful home. Restrictions apply. Visit colonialmarble.net for details on their vanity special.
Have you questioned your doctor about symptoms like low energy, digestive issues, brain fog, joint pain, just not feeling right, just something is off, and you're only left settling for unanswered questions, or worse, being told it's just because you're getting older? You don't have to settle for unanswered questions any longer. With Younger Me MD's exclusive VIP membership program, aging doesn't have to make you feel older. Their proven 3-step process and functional medicine approach helps you discover the underlying causes of your issues. As a member, you get access to high-level personalized treatment plans, as well as discounts on treatments and supplements. If you're ready to live the life you deserve, it's time to learn about Younger Me MD's VIP membership program. Call 445-266-4024. 445-266-4024. That's 445-266-4024. And schedule your consultation with Younger Me MD.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal & Company, 634. The great Linda Kearns, attorney at Law LLC, handling the playlist again this week as she just keeps billing hours and, acquiring retainer fees and then spending them here for a great cause with Families Behind the Badge. Big donation. That's how you get 5 days of the playlist.
Nice.
Mild donation. You can ride with us. You can donate with us, which, by the way, yesterday, if you follow the station on Twitter at 1210 WPHT, somebody leaked out the graphic of the Kayal & Company bike shirts.
Who did that?
Who did that?
Who did that?
I tell you what, if those are accurate like the polls, those are pretty nice looking.
Phil Omquist. Oh, Phil Omquist has it up on the YouTube chat if you want to see it.
Wow, how did he have that?
I don't know. YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT if you want to see the exclusive Kayal & Company bike jerseys for the Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation, which, by the way, they'll be in here today at 9:30.
Yes.
They will not have your bike, though.
Oh.
So we'll get you your bike when you come back from Nashville.
All right. We filled up the shirt, too. There's not much inventory left on that shirt for advertising.
So what they're saying is that there's like 10 left, I believe.
Okay.
So if you register right now to ride with Team Kayal & Company, go to gregstockersucks.com. Sorry, Billy, I don't have to turn you down there. If you register right now at gregstockersucks.com to ride with Team Kayal & Company, you will get this bike jersey, which, by the way, is not cheap.
No.
For free.
No. So, very sharp looking. Yeah. Very impressed. Shout out to David Gelman Law, gelmanlawfirm.com for all of your criminal defense or personal injury needs. 855-839-1210. All right. Dawn, are you buying what I was selling, or at least what I was relaying in the big take? I mean, Harry Enton, his head almost exploded 3 times on CNN yesterday. He couldn't believe the support that Trump was receiving, a 6-decade high. And then also the Daily Mail, which I think Daily Mail is owned by the New York Post, if I recall correctly. Yes. Okay. So now it's this secret plan, and I really don't think there's much real groundbreaking revelations in there. But do you think, here's the question, because we've talked in the past, can they get Joe to step aside? Can Jill do it? And we've said no. But could the quartet of power players of Barack Obama, noticeably Bill Clinton, not Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi, could the four of them create a sales pitch to Joe that he would actually buy and step down? Or is stubborn old Joe Biden just going to keep riding until the wheels fall off?
I still contend this is why they want him to do the June debate. It gives them an out. If it's that horrendous.
And it kind of gives them like a dress rehearsal, right? Like this is Saturday Night Live at 10-something.
How bad is it?
When they do the dry run before they go live at 11:29 on Channel 10, and you kind of get the hiccups and the mistakes out of the way. Maybe a skit didn't resonate. Maybe there's some changes to the script, so to speak, or certain bits that are going to be disregarded for the final edition. So if Joe crashes and burns, like there's no doubt about it, they'll have 6 weeks. Now, I thought it was interesting that some of those pollsters in there and some of those Democratic strategists did not offer a viable solution should the swap occur. And I think that's the problem here. They know, I think, more than likely that they would really like to get rid of Joe. But they don't have a lock, stop, surefire, no doubt about it guarantee. You can't do Kamala. Michelle wants no part of it. People are fleeing California in droves. Gavin Newsom could be a difficult sell. I don't know. Maybe Gavin Newsom would beat Trump. Maybe anybody they insert would beat Trump, because we do know that there's this double hater contingency out there that is, screaming and desperate for a third option. And they know that Bobby Kennedy's not that guy. Maybe they could just insert anybody and it would work. But I think behind closed doors, if they're having a legit conversation around a conference table, they don't have a viable option. I mean, you're going to give me Gretchen Whitmer? Yeah, I mean, Shapiro, Fetterman. I mean, you go down the list of names that we talk about in Democrat politics. I don't see the next Barack Obama left-wing savior coming down the aisle anytime soon. Is there anybody out there that I'm missing that you think might be A, willing, and B, sellable, that would take it and win?
Well, we talked about, wasn't it USA Today was among the publications that put Governor Josh Shapiro's name first on the list.
I can see it, but not in 2024. I could see it in 2028. Would not surprise me in the least if we had, I think there's one of two scenarios in 2028, and I know we're not even through 2024 yet. You could see Gavin Newsom versus Ron DeSantis, which almost seems too obvious, almost seems too easy to say that will be the race. I mean, I could see Shapiro against Glenn Youngkin. I told you last week, I think you might have been out on the show where we did the Glenn Youngkin conversation as far as him possibly being a vice president for Trump. That was on Friday, and apparently that speculation is out there after they had a meeting that Glenn Youngkin could be the guy, which if you're a J.D. Vance guy and you're a big fan of the youngster from Ohio who's basically my age, 40 years old, I think a lot of people were a little ticked off that I threw out Glenn Youngkin as a name for 2028 and for 2024's vice president. But I think Glenn Youngkin, especially if those polls are accurate in Virginia, we talk about certain states being attainable for Trump beyond the 7 swing states. Trump has talked about Minnesota. He's talked about Virginia. If you buy the polls, Trump and Biden are pretty much deadlocked in Virginia. So that's another name to keep in mind as we start floating out all these names.
I don't see Glenn Youngkin.
You don't like him, or you just don't see it happening?
I just don't see. I don't see that one.
Okay.
I think even though my heart is with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, as you know, but I think out of the top possibles, I think it's Marco Rubio. That's my newest.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
My newest, because
I could see it. I really could.
And yes, I'm going to go there. It's a Gemini thing. They're both Geminis, which Geminis always are magnets to each other. But in a serious note.
So which one would then declare residency in another state?
Marco.
Yeah, it's got to be Rubio.
Where's he going to?
I don't know.
Where's he
going
to
matter.
move to?
Just find a house. Okay. Who cares? Find a townhouse. If Nick Kayal can do it in 6 weeks, Rubio can do it.
Little Marco is going to borrow your little truck.
Listen, I hate to burst everybody's bubble here, because I know this is fun fodder for June 18th when there's not, the storylines are a little slim, with these two candidates. but it's not. Joe Biden will be the candidate. He is the candidate.
Yeah.
The end. There's nothing. No, there's no plot to get him out.
But you're still of the belief that he'll be swapped after he potentially wins early on.
If he wins, I do believe he'll probably only serve maybe a year.
Okay.
But I just think that's going to be an age thing. I think his age is going to be too. But it's just this whole notion that they're trying to get Biden out of the debate and they're trying to get Biden out of the race. They're not. They're right. It's a ride or die.
So
with
then,
this guy.
what
literally?
Yes. Ride the horse until either you fall off or he just breaks a leg and you got to put him down, like at the Kentucky Derby. So then, what is the motivation behind June 27th? Because this is historic. We've never seen a debate this early. It's they either need to have time to find their replacement if he fails in the debate, or they feel so desperate to get him out there to stop the narrative of he's too old and he's eroding before our very eyes. There's only one of two motivations for the left to do something so historic premature.
To be honest with you, I think it's because of early voting, and I think it's because of mail-in ballots. States are going to start voting in September. So
September 16th.
So yeah. I think if you wait until
November 5th,
September or October, which historically has been the months of debates, it's too late by then because people are voting. So I think they're trying to get it out of the way because they know people are voting earlier.
Yeah. Could very well be the idea.
Of course it's the idea.
And by the way, start taking advantage of mail-in ballots and mail-in voting. 855-839-1210. Kind of an interesting story here. Actually, we won't have time for it. We'll get to it as we wrap up the 6 o'clock hour. The New York Times, with an interesting column on Republicans and Democrats trading places on turnout. We talked a little bit yesterday about party realignment. I want to get to this New York Times article because it talks about a lot of what Republicans are doing and how this is actually a plus or a net positive for Trump, which is a theory I've had for a while. But then also, one conservative columnist for The Federalist gives a dire warning to Republicans to ignore the polls. We're going to get to this on the other side as well. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Borgata's Dash for Cash giveaway is here. This May and June, you could win a share of $1.3 million in prizes, including 2 new Cadillac Lyric SUVs or one of 4 new Voyager golf carts. Play to earn entries for 2 grand prize drawings held Saturday, May 25th and June 29th. The Dash for Cash giveaway, only at Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa. For details, visit theborgata.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we have absolutely incredible offers and a plethora of both new and certified Volvos from which to choose. We are eager to offer amazingly competitive prices, plus an additional $1,000 Costco discount on all new Cherry Hill Volvos. When leasing or purchasing a new or certified Cherry Hill Volvo, you become a valued part of our team. Join Cherry Hill Volvo for the pricing and attention you deserve. I am Judith Krupnick, president of Cherry Hill Volvo.
Get ready to hit it out of the park every time you fire up the grill this summer with Hatfield. Swing into action with Hatfield's variety of marinated pork, ground pork and sausage, ham, bacon, and your favorite Hatfield Phillies Franks. With over 24 distinct flavors that can be ready in minutes, Hatfield pork is food you'll feel good about serving. From home or at the ballpark, find your flavor with Hatfield, the official pork provider of the Phillies. Visit simplyhatfield.com for recipes and to find a retailer near you.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head and just over $30,000. That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask like 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. Optima Tax Relief. They're the best in the business.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Have you recently had an HVAC tech at your home to fix your unit and he wanted to sell you all types of upgrades? Look, if your AC unit is acting unruly this summer and needs to be fixed, we'll send out one of our technicians to do one thing: fix your AC. And if we do think you need a new one, we'll have one of our factory-trained install teams put in a new state-of-the-art train cooling system to keep you cool. Visit us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekance.com.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
$6:49, it's Kayal and Company. It's a Tuesday morning. Cut sheet coming up in just over or just under an hour. 855-839-1210. What are multiple experts and doctors saying about Joe Biden's multiple freeze-up moments in the last week? We'll get to some of that. And also a former Kamala Harris aide says the biggest threat in a Veep debate would be, well, you're going to have to stick around to find out. 855-839-1210. So I've got some numbers here from Scott Pressler. I want to give these. We won't have time to get to these 2 articles from the Federalist or the Times. We'll do that when we kick off hour number 2. But I do think this was pretty interesting yesterday, and it goes to show you kind of what's happening here in Pennsylvania. And there's probably no more of an important state this fall, or I should say this this election, than Pennsylvania. And Scott tweeted these numbers out yesterday. And see, here's the thing. Like, guys like Scott Pressler, the GOP could use about 1,000 more of them. Can we stick him in like a cloning booth and just, crank out more Scott Presslers? People that actually get things done instead of looking for cameras and microphones. Scott Pressler tweeted this yesterday. These Pennsylvania numbers, in the last 7 days, 1,228 Democrats have flipped to Republican, and he broke it down by county of people flipping blue to red. And I just want to rattle these off to you, because I do think this is interesting, and it's a good trend. Allegheny County has seen a flip of 73 registered voters go from D to R. 73 in Allegheny County. Bucks County, 68. Chester County, only 13. Dauphin County, 27. Delaware County, 39. Erie County, 31. Lackawanna, 27. Lancaster, 39. Lehigh County, 51. Luzerne County, 136. Monroe, 16. Montgomery County, 48. My old hometown, Northampton County, only 14. Philadelphia County, 362. Westmoreland County, 24. And York, 37. So when we talk about these swing states, and by the way, Real Clear Politics has posted their latest projections based on all of the aggregate polling that is out there, and they have Trump taking, and I'll just say this right now, I'll make a bet with anybody, or I'll just make a bet for myself. If Donald Trump sweeps the swing states, all 7 of them, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, I will get a Trump silhouette tattooed on one of my 2 butt cheeks. That's how confident I am.
What
And
are
by
we
the way,
doing? What are we doing?
By the way,
I'm resigning. Nick's getting tattoos.
There's just no shot that Trump. Because here's the thing: when you look at the formula, Trump only needs to take one of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Let's just operate under the assumption that he wins Georgia, which I think he's got a shot. He's definitely going to take North Carolina. Arizona, I feel more confident in than Georgia. Nevada, I feel pretty confident. That would mean if he takes those four from the southeast all the way up through the west coast, he would only need one of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. But this notion and a lot of these polls that everybody is taking the bait on, I just can't see him taking all 7 swing states. That would mean that the polls were spot on accurate. And when's the last time the polls have been spot on accurate? They haven't been accurate in 2022. They have not been accurate in 2023. We're going to get to this article from the Federalist coming up next as this guy who throws some cold water on everybody just getting ready to take a victory lap for a Republican victory. But also the New York Times takes a page out of maybe a right-wing website playbook and points out some of the concerns for Biden. So I do want to get to both. But the real main reason I want to get to this Federalist article is because I don't think you're going to get this on many other shows, because you're going to get a lot of people throughout the country that work in this format, and they're going to just keep telling you. Like, with all due respect, I like him. I'm friends with him. I swear, if you had looked at Clay Travis's timeline, you would have thought the election was over already. It's unbelievable. And look,
he was very right about the
he's wrong about everything
about the Trump conviction. He was very right about that. So.
He's wrong about everything, sports and politics. Yeah. And he's my buddy. But, like, seriously, I'm going to give you some information that I think, coming from a different voice, will resonate, and we'll do that on the other side. 855-839-1210. Dawn will have some news to kick off hour number 2. And then also, there's another story I want to get to. Speaking of getting on a flight, I got to defend this lady. This female was booking a flight on American Airlines, and she flew from Dallas to Philadelphia, and she wore a red MAGA hat. And what she had to endure on the flight, nobody should have to endure. And I got to go to bat for this lady. She's probably a Cowboy fan, but she's coming to Philadelphia, and she had a Trump hat on, so she's my gal. And I'm going to defend her before we get to the cut sheet. It's Kayal and Company. Hour 2 is coming up next.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. If you have a fear of the dentist, you're not alone. My friend and board-certified prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz, is known for helping you overcome your fear and anxiety. Patients have come to Dr. Bentz from all over Pennsylvania, South Jersey, some even farther, from New York, Florida, even Washington State. One of our listeners have been putting off much-needed dental work, get this, for 8 years due to fear and anxiety. After hearing me talk about how great Dr. Bentz was with fearful patients, she reached out, made an appointment, traveling from Ocean City, New Jersey to East Norriton just for Dr. Bentz. She still comes back for routine care. That's how good Dr. Bentz and his entire staff are. They go out of their way to help your fear and anxiety. Now's the time to call Dr. Robert Bentz, the Bentz Dental Group. See the Bentz difference. Make that appointment today. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com or call 610-272-6949, 610-272-6949.
Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey is known for being South Jersey's diamond destination and your trusted jeweler for quality, service, and price. Choose from the largest selection of engagement rings in the area or have their master jewelers create a one-of-a-kind ring just for your special day. Visit their showroom or shop online at FamilyJewelers.com.
Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
See Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra in a tribute to Philly sports fans on the Boardwalk in Ocean City, New Jersey, Saturday, July 13th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. And we guarantee, if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list.
We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
This is Larry Sinus with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Sinus with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there, investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we have absolutely incredible offers and a plethora of both new and certified Volvos from which to choose. We are eager to offer amazingly competitive prices, plus an additional $1,000 Costco discount on all new Cherry Hill Volvos. When leasing or purchasing a new or certified Cherry Hill Volvo, you become a valued part of our team. Join Cherry Hill Volvo for the pricing and attention you deserve. I am Judith Krupnick, president of Cherry Hill Volvo.
If you're looking for that perfect piece of furniture, you have to check out Bucks County Estate Traders. They have the largest in-stock inventory in the region, and I mean largest, enough to fill a 58,000 square foot showroom. Quality, high-end furniture and accessories, modern, traditional, mid-century, all types of European styles, current pieces, as well as antiques. They'll arrange to ship anywhere, or you can pick up in-store. So visit them on Bethlehem Pike in Hatfield or at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
So I'd like to know where you got the notion. Said I'd like to know where you got the notion. To rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat, I don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat, I don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat.
7 o'clock, hour number 2 underway here on this Tuesday morning. It is Nick, Dawn, and Greg, affectionately known as Kayal and Company, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us on YouTube. Tweet us, Instagram us, call us, text us, email us, send us smoke signals, whatever you have to do. We'll read them. We don't have thin skin. Cut sheet coming up 7:45. But if you send anti-complimentary verbiage to us, you know, sometimes we'll fire back at you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're not afraid to get in the ring and tussle a little bit. 855-839-1210. We got a lot of good stuff to get to. I want to get to this Federalist story, the New York Times story. We got so much. By the way, you said in the first hour the storylines are a little thin. I got more stories and content to get to.
I didn't say that the storylines were thin.
Oh.
I said that the whole, like, we need something, the media needs something to make a Trump v. Biden rematch, which nobody in the country is looking forward to.
You know what the media is really running with now is the whole bad faith, deep fake, cheap fake stuff. It's almost like whatever Karine Jean-Pierre was uttering, all the networks are now running with it as well.
What's interesting to me about that is that we played that video yesterday of Obama grabbing Biden by the hand and kind of leading him. And they're telling us that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I saw the video. Yeah. Like, I know it happened.
Yes.
Trust
watched
me,
it.
I'm not an apologist for either one of them. I will tell you what I think. That is 100% him saying, okay, Joe, this way. That's exactly what that was.
And you are one of the first people to say not to fall for some of the stuff on social media, especially in this day and age with artificial intelligence and clipping and things being taken out of context. Now, if you want to talk about last week in Italy where, you know, you had the one parachuter to his left that you couldn't see in the video that we played, okay, I got that.
Agreed.
Or if you want to talk about, you know, when he was with Macron in France and we were wondering if he was soiling himself or if he was trying to sit down in a chair. Was there a chair? It was kind of hard to tell, but eventually you realize, okay, there is a chair.
Yeah.
But we have enough ample evidence that hasn't been doctored or questioned in 3.5 years to arrive at the conclusion of, no, we're not acting in bad faith. Our eyes are telling us what exactly is going on.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll get to all of that as we continue. But let's get to the news. 7:03, round number 2, the great Dawn Stensland.
And we are sponsored this morning, this Tuesday morning, June the 18th, sponsored by Discover Lancaster. As we look for all of those excessive heat warnings and watches, of course, we will be talking about that a lot this morning. Code red in Philadelphia today because of the heat that is coming. We're at 74 degrees right now this morning. We're getting some new details on the brutal murder of that elderly suburban woman, as police say the suspect in custody is, in fact, her own son, who police say confessed to killing his mom in Bucks County, then taking her car, stealing her car, driving her car all the way to Washington, D.C., where he was arrested, not for the suspicion of what happened to his mother, but for allegedly assaulting a police officer in D.C. The victim, identified as 82-year-old Dolores Ingram, she was found dead by authorities inside her condo on Beacon Hill Drive. This is in the Holland section of Northampton Township, where her son, 49-year-old William Ingram, lived with Mrs. Ingram, the 82-year-old. So he was arrested by D.C. police and accused of assaulting a police officer, damaging a police vehicle with his skateboard before his arrest. And then once he was arrested, taken into custody for that in D.C., he allegedly told investigators there they should check on his mother, and they say he confessed to killing his mom, 82-year-old Dolores Ingram. That prompted those officers to call to our area, Bucks County officials, who then did a wellness check on her home and, in fact, found her dead under a pile of furniture and clothing, and looked like her, according to the initial accounts, that she had a major head bludgeoning style injury.
Blunt force trauma to some extent. That's just awful.
So the autopsy is underway this morning. We are expecting we will hear more information from officials there in Bucks County. So we're talking about that one. Since I'm on the topic of Bucks County, we've talked a lot about volunteer fire departments and how across our region, across the country, those volunteer firefighters always keep the taxes down and are also really a great way, in my family, the guys, a great camaraderie for a lot of guys who love that and bring in their, young adult sons or even, 18, 19-year-old adult sons. And so there's a nice camaraderie that happens. But unfortunately, we have these dwindling numbers across the country, across our region, of those volunteer firefighters. And that is really what prompted these huge public safety changes happening in Bucks County. And their largest community is all 6 volunteer fire companies in Bensalem are now under one umbrella and are consolidated. It took a couple years to do this, to bring those 6 separate volunteer fire companies together under one organization in one municipality. And this is because of those dwindling numbers. We just don't have people who will volunteer.
Yeah.
And perhaps a lot of people moving out of the city, moving to the suburbs. Maybe it's a cultural thing as well.
Well, think about the economy and think about inflation and Bidenomics over the last 3.5 years. I mean, some people can't survive on one salaried job and need a second paying job. Who has the time or the money to volunteer in this economy? Nobody wants to work for free when they can't make ends meet with one job. Just a thought.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
I think just coming from a family of firefighters and volunteer firefighters, my dad, my brother, my uncle, I mean, they all had full-time jobs. They were really busy.
Mm-hmm.
I just think this is like a cultural shift
Okay.
away from volunteerism.
More of the entitlement era of,
Yep.
well, I'm not
I
going to.
got better things to do. I'm
Mhm.
going to sit on my computer games, or I'm going to go to a game, or I'm going to go to
Yeah.
the gym for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's a cultural shift that we're seeing, and this used to be within families. I also think we've seen volunteer firefighters and fire companies who got in trouble for things because it is a place where there's male camaraderie.
Yep.
And what do they call it? Microaggression, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it wasn't celebrated as much as it used to be.
I'll tell you what, in this day and age, I'd much rather be a firefighter than a police officer.
Oh, this is true.
I'll take that to the bank.
Amen. Well, I guess that brings us to what happened in Philadelphia. New fire commissioner sworn in by Mayor Sherelle Parker. We've talked about that this morning as Mayor Parker, a big celebration, if you will, in Philadelphia, celebrating the next generation, if you will. So the next fire commissioner sworn in by Mayor Sherelle Parker, and she had made a campaign promise, many campaign promises, obviously, to realign leadership, that sort of thing. So now she has sworn in our latest fire commissioner. And as well, we want to talk real quick here about her promises as well. Reversing the defund the police movement, hiring more officers. And that brings us to these 75 new police recruits now sworn in as official Philadelphia police officers. And the group graduates as the Philadelphia Police Department continues this major push in recruitment. The department still has more than 1,000 officers short of approved staffing levels. And so the defund the police, Police Commissioner Bethel came right out and said it last night. Defund the police, negative portrayals of police across America. And how about this, ladies and gentlemen? They still decided to join our team and got a huge round of applause last night.
Yep, that's run out of steam, as has in New York the whole concept of being able to wear a mask on public transportation. I think it was Adams and Hochul coming down in the last couple of days saying that's going to be no longer permissible. All this nonsense that we've had to live through. It's all reached its expiration date. Experiment over.
So we got that going on, which is nice. We also have I will just mention this to you, some other headlines as President Joe Biden making some big waves and headlines talking about immigration. We've talked a lot about the border, but what about Joe Biden signing into law with executive orders and so on to help out those so-called DACA residents? Still, many of those DACA kids, now adults, living in America. And so Biden's saying that he will sign into law, taking expansive election year step to offer relief to potentially hundreds of thousands of immigrants without legal status in the U.S., aiming to balance his own aggressive crackdown, he calls aggressive crackdown on the border earlier this month. And so now the White House has announced the Biden administration will very soon, we don't have an exact date, allow certain spouses of U.S. citizens without legal status to apply for permanent residency and then eventually the pathway to citizenship. And so this would affect at least 500,000 illegal immigrants, but they're married to a United States citizen. It would also help that now to qualify, we'll say, have to have lived in the United States for 10 years or more and be married to a U.S. citizen. If a qualifying immigrant's application is approved, he or she would have 3 years to apply for a green card and then receive a temporary work permit and be shielded from deportation in the meantime.
Okay. Yeah, this interesting timing with all of this, especially after what just happened in Maryland, that mom of 5, beautiful young lady that was raped and killed by an illegal immigrant who came here and failed to get into the country 3 consecutive times, finally got through on the 4th time. Oh, and by the way, with the vetting of these individuals, he was a convicted killer in El Salvador.
Yeah, because they come here with fake IDs, drop the fake IDs at the border, and come over and they get a new fake ID, allegedly. So we're talking about the heat today. The heat is on. We're in the 90s, 91, 93 degrees today. It's going to feel like about 107, and those excessive heat warnings going into effect. I don't know how or if that'll affect many Juneteenth celebrations across the city, across the region, because tomorrow's Juneteenth, obviously the 19th. But maybe the heat is helping our Phils. They're also hot in a good way. Kyle Schwarber homering twice. Trey Turner, 2 hits in his return to the lineup. Got a standing ovation. Phillies defeating the San Diego Padres 9-2 last night, and again face the Padres tonight. It's going to be still in the 90s. 6:40 game time this evening, Citizens Bank Park.
It's destiny, Dawn. They're going to win the World Series for the first time in 16 years. Just like the Boston Celtics last night. Both teams, the Phillies and the Celtics, last won in 2008. Celtics got theirs last night. We get ours in about 5 months.
That would be nice. Well, you know what? This is great time for ice cream. Discover Lancaster, our sponsor, calling all ice cream lovers. Indulge in Lancaster County's mouth-watering ice cream trail. Sample delectable flavors at charming local creameries. Discover sweet delights around every corner. Find the trail at discoverlancaster.com today. How good does that sound? Discover Lancaster. Thank you for sponsoring our news this morning.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. Joe Biden's been out there a few times. He gets the chocolate chip double scoop with the waffle cone. But at this point, he probably goes with the bowl right now, the little dish, because you got to lick it fast in the summer if you're going to get a cone, or else it drips down, and you're going to need 40,000 napkins, and your daughter's all upset. Not that I've been through it or anything. Speaking of the big guy, let me get to the big guy here. We got about 5 minutes. Doctors revealing a condition, and it's one thing when we speculate, does Joe have dementia? Does he have Alzheimer's? What exactly is going on? We just know that there's a major cognitive decline, and he's pretty much eroding before our very eyes. But I want to give you this story courtesy of Fox News, where multiple experts have voiced their concern over Biden's sense and series of odd freezing incidents over the past week. If you haven't been paying attention, I don't know, maybe you've been on vacation or something like that. Most recently, the president's face and body appeared to freeze on stage this past weekend at a fundraiser in Hollywood. This is the Obama situation we were talking about earlier today and also yesterday, where Obama kind of grabs him by the hand and takes him off to the stage, exit left. Biden stopped moving after his speech, staring blankly over the crowd for several seconds, but a White House representative dismissed reports of the frozen reaction and called them fakes and lies, explaining his reaction was, quote, simply taking an applauding crowd and observing it for a few seconds. And this comes less than a week after he seemed to freeze up at that Juneteenth celebration on the White House front lawn, where we saw Joe and Kamala and Doug Emhoff and a dude with long hair and a beard. We played you that video last week where he was seen staring and just kind of being in a trance when Kamala was dancing along. But in February, as you might recall, the results of Biden's annual physical were released, and they revealed that there were no new concerns about his health. The report detailed several medical conditions that the president has, including sleep apnea, acid reflux, irregular heartbeat, high cholesterol, seasonal allergies, arthritis, and nerve damage in his feet. It's also listed that he takes medications to treat a variety of these conditions, including one blood thinner that will list confusion as a side effect. Interesting that they slipped that in because every time we see Joe, he seems to be confused. I think that's by design. But a Los Angeles-based doctor said, quote, frozen, masked faces, diminishing arm swing, less frequent blinking, likely due to a central neurological disorder like Parkinson's. Also, another expert commenting on neurodegenerative disorders in general said, and not specifically on the president's condition, Dr. Zayed Nasruddin, a neurologist who invented the gold standard cognitive test, previously told Fox that the slurred speech is seen in Parkinson's, which affects levels of brain hormones that are involved in movement. So you had a couple of individuals there giving their expert opinion. And I think that's what a lot, and look, you know, you don't do it to make jokes. It's more about, hey, whether or not you are physically fit to be the leader of the free world. And honestly, if we were still in primary season, just to show that I'm you know, as fair as I possibly can be, even though I am a partisan hack, like if it was down to Trump versus DeSantis in a primary, or Trump versus Nikki Haley, and Donald Trump had the same exact conditions that Joe Biden has. If you just took everything mentally and physically with Biden, injected it into Trump, I would say that DeSantis or Haley or Ramaswamy would be the better option because Trump is in serious cognitive decline. But that's what we're seeing with Joe Biden. So I think we've all gone through this. We've all had a family member who's gotten up there in years, in their 70s, their 80s, their 90s. And yes, you have people like Dawn's father. Dawn's father, Dawn, your father's what, late 80s?
Yeah.
Sharp as a tack, strong as an ox, good genes, the whole bit.
Yep.
But we've seen this before. We've seen people with Alzheimer's, with dementia, with Parkinson's, other issue, Lou Gehrig's disease. You go on down the list. This happens. So I think the biggest insult for me, and like I get it, it's part of the game. You always want to make it sound like your guy is fit for the fight. But it's insulting to Americans' intelligence when you have Karine Jean-Pierre, and I get it, it's her job, it's what she's supposed to do. But when you hear these stories of how Joe is just sharp as a tack and full of vigor behind the scenes, and yet the American public, the 81 million who voted for this guy, the only time you ever see the guy with any ounce of energy is at a State of the Union, which you then draw conclusions of, okay, what did they allegedly give him to get him fired up? I mean, he has fallen asleep with people in Israel. He doesn't know how to get off of a stage. And now we have a debate set up 9 days from now where it's basically in a library. There's no distractions. There will be no interruptions. And on top of it, I was thinking about this yesterday. The one thing I really want to pay attention to, because this is a CNN production with Tapper and Bash, pay specific attention to interruptions by the moderators. I will guarantee you Bash or Tapper will interrupt Trump multiple times. They will not interrupt Joe one time, because if they interrupt Joe one time, it will derail his train of thought. That's a prediction right now.
By the way, we ran with fake news yesterday. It's fake news that they're both going to be seated during the debate.
I was wondering, didn't I say that yesterday? How do you sit at a podium?
Yeah,
no, I said that they were what I reported that. I said that reportedly they were still haggling over not the podium. They've decided they will have podiums, but reportedly they were haggling over whether they would be seated or that they would have some kind of like a bar stool behind them that they could sit back even during the two commercial breaks.
Okay, because I'm sitting there, I'm thinking like podiums are usually 4.5, 5 feet tall. Like, how do you sit at a podium unless you're sitting on like a really high bar stool, which, by the way, would be very uncomfortable for 90 minutes to sit in that setting.
But you could, I mean, I think that reportedly they're still going through the details. That's what's being reported.
Not that detail. CNN released a statement saying that there is no truth to the fact that they'll both be sitting. They will both be standing, according to CNN.
Are you allowed to sit during one of the two commercial breaks?
I'm just telling you what CNN said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reportedly, I'm just saying what was being reportedly, they would have some kind of a bar stool or some stool that they could, even during the two commercial breaks, sit back on. That was what was being reported.
855-839-1210 if you want to jump in.
No, I don't get my news from Twitter, Greg Stocker.
I said Stocker's getting feisty. He needs to enter the ring. All right, let me tell you about my we're going to get to this Federalist story. This is great, and the New York Times. But let me tell you first about my friends with families behind the badge. We all have a deep admiration and adoration and respect for first responders, and I definitely do. That's why I'm hoping that you will join me once again in supporting the Bend to the Shore bike tour. It's coming up on Sunday, July 21st. We're just about a month away, folks, and there's a ton of options here. You can ride 65 miles from Philly to AC or 30 miles from Hamilton. And by the way, you're going to get a very nice shirt, a nice little jersey. Did you check it out? 6:35 on the YouTube feed if you want to go back and get it. There's a family-friendly celebration at the Showboat Hotel after the ride, and you can even register to ride with me and Team 1210. Just join today, bend2shore.org. That's Ben, the number 2, shore.org. And when you sign up with the code NICK1210, they'll knock off $25 off your registration fee. And they're going to be in studio this morning at 9:30. That's Ben, the number 2, shore.org. Promo code NICK1210. FBBCF provides financial relief for the families of fallen and injured first responders, and they support the Police Youth Alliance, which fosters a positive relationship between police and youth.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano inviting you to join me in Wildwood at Mulligan Shore Bar this Friday, June 21st, to celebrate Dom Giordano Day in Wildwood. We have an action-packed day planned, national guest of honor Scott Presler joining us, lots of local guests, and of course, entertainment by Burning Sky, the ultimate Bad Company tribute band. It'll be a great day in Wildwood. Blow off work Friday. Join me at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood starting at noon. Mulligan's at 310 West Hildreth Avenue in Wildwood. Details at 1210WPHT.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-688-6641. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, it's John Ashell, the Car Czar from Colonial Hyundai. We continue to be committed to making your car buying experience fast, easy, and better with simplified pricing every day at Colonial. Save up to 20% off any new Hyundai in stock. We also take the worry out of how much you'll be getting for your trade. In fact, I'll give you $6,500 for your trade, guaranteed, no matter the condition. We're in the final stages of the construction of our new state-of-the-art showroom. A bigger, more comfortable area for sales, more service space, easier pickup and drop-off. But why wait? We're fully operational while the construction continues, and we have over 200 vehicles in stock and waiting for you. Tucson's, Konas, Santa Fe's, and Palisades. We even have incredible finance offers, some as low as 0% for up to 60 months. Every new vehicle at Colonial Hyundai comes with America's best warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain, and Hyundai Assurance. Shop us online 24/7 at colonialhyundai.com or visit us on Route 30 in Downingtown. Colonial Hyundai, the faster, easier, better way to buy a Hyundai.
Up to 20% off dealer listed price includes all rebates and incentives. Offer cannot be combined with other offers. Offer N71. See dealer.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth. And if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS has raised the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes in recent years. This hits hard if you're behind on your taxes. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. If you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, this is Matt Spiegel, and on my podcast, The PBP, Voices of Baseball, we learn how the best broadcasters in the game, like the Reds' John Sadak, try to capture the greatness of the best players, like Ellie Dela Cruz.
He's a video game character. I mean, he is so athletic, and I think each moment is its own living entity, and I try to just match whatever that moment is.
The PBP, Voices of Baseball. We bring you the people who bring you the game. Find us on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
So many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. Each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Why are you paying for an AC system that's struggling to keep you cool? If you hear something funny, smell something burny, your AC is frozen or leaking water, or even feel warm air coming from your AC, it's time to call CNC. CNC Heating and Air Conditioning, your local Lennox dealers, can make it a no-sweat summer for your entire household with one phone call. 0% financing options available. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit cc-hvac.com to request your estimate today.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sorry, no music. Sorry about
What'd
that.
you do?
We are back. I feel like Mike Francesa on WFAN. All right, we're back. We don't do rejoinders and music here. We get right back to the content. 855-839-1210.
Nick and I were stuck in conversation. So
Yes, we
sorry
were.
about that.
Yes, plotting out my return. Hopefully my safe return from Tennessee. By the way, if you believe in prayer, say a prayer for me as I'm driving that big thing back up from Nashville.
Yeah.
You go through those mountains of Knoxville and up through West Virginia, and a little dicey. I'll be just whatever side
suck it up.
whatever side the cliff is on.
Come on.
I'll be in the other lane, Dawn. I don't
will
like
say a
looking
prayer
over
for
the
you, but
ledge.
come on.
Ugh. God, I get a little queasy going up and down mountains. I'm telling you, I can't get on that roller coaster. I'm telling you, it's going to kill me, but it's for a good cause. All right, 855-839-1210. Let's get to a call here, and then I want to get to these stories that I've been talking about with the Federalist and the New York Times. We've got our buddy Ed in Delran, and looks like he's got something to say about a family member. Ed, good morning.
Oh, yes, I do. I have a brother in a nursing home, okay, and he's only 69 years old, and he's had issues with his memory and trying to get stories straight. He's confused. He puts all these subjects together and crunches them all up, and then you have no idea what he's talking about.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He can't remember he can't remember where people live. He's like, I took him out of the nursing home one day to take him back to clean out his apartment, and he tried to go in the wrong car in the parking lot at a Wawa.
Right.
So what I'm trying to tell you is I'm very familiar with this kind of thing. With Joe Bite Me there, that guy is a freaking disaster and belongs in a nursing home and not in the White House by no means.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most people would agree with you, except for some of the fringe delusional Democrats that just, let's be honest, they don't care about somebody's well-being. If it means victory, they will, ride with that individual. I mean, we saw Dianne Feinstein. We've seen John Fetterman. I mean, John Fetterman's recovering from a stroke just months removed from having that awful event occur, and the Democrats are trotting him out on a stage to debate Mehmet Oz, right? Like, I think that is, it's twofold. One, that goes to show you the depths to which Democrats will go to win, but also maybe where, Republicans have a little bit more of a heart, but also Republicans don't go to those extremes, right? And I think that's where we've heard so many people in the past, I don't know, weeks, if not months, say it's time to start taking the fight to the Democrats the same way the Democrats take the fight to Republicans, whether that's prosecutions, whether that's investigations, on down the list. So, Ed, best of luck to your brother. Sorry to hear about that at, 69 years old, he said. Yeah, it's sad. All right, so let me get to this story with the Federalist, which the headline reads, "Ignore the polls. Republicans have a major voter turnout problem," which is true. Frank Luntz, Republican pollster, does throw a little bit of water on this article written by Sean Fleetwood, which I thought was fascinating. I'll give you some of the details in a second. But Frank Luntz makes a very good point. When Trump is on the ballot, it's a completely different ballgame. Point in case, Trump, 16, he got 62 million votes. In 2020, he got 12 million more. He got 74 million votes. But this is really good, and I want people to hear this. Sean Fleetwood writes the following for the Federalist. "If you read nothing but posts," by the way, this first sentence was not written by Greg Stocker. This was written by Sean Fleetwood. "If you read nothing but posts from conservative influencers on X, you'd be convinced that Donald Trump has already won the 2024 election. The source of this sensationalized optimism comes from public polling data, which shows the former president with leads in key battleground states he needs to win this November. Some surveys also seemingly indicate that traditionally blue states like Virginia and Minnesota are in play. With numbers like these and Biden's approval rating sinking faster than Rachel Levine in a swimming pool, there's no way Trump can lose." That's not me ad-libbing, as written by Sean Fleetwood, or so the conventional thinking goes. While it's certainly possible that the polls are accurate, the outcome of recent elections should give conservatives reasons to pump the brakes on celebrating before any ballots have been cast. Case in point, a special election held in Ohio's 6th congressional district last Tuesday. The matchup between Democrat Michael Kripchak and Republican Michael Ruley wasn't expected to be a close race. According to the Associated Press, former GOP rep Bill Johnson, who represented the district until his resignation earlier this year, quote, won his last 4 elections by more than 30 percentage points. Trump similarly won the district by roughly 30 points during the 2020 contest. While Ruley defeated Kripchak in Tuesday's matchup and expanded Republicans' thin House majority, the election was much closer than originally projected. Preliminary results indicated Ruley won the race by 9 points, more than a 21-point shift in Democrat favor. But maybe last night's election, and he's referring to last Tuesday, was a fluke. He says, after all, voter turnout was seemingly low and will likely be higher during this fall's presidential contest. While such reasoning is certainly viable, it doesn't take into account the growing list of recent elections in which Democrats have widely outperformed expectations at the ballot box. Take the 2022 midterms, for example. And he also mentions in Nevada's Senate race, for instance. The Real Clear Politics polling average showed Republican Adam Laxalt beating Democrat Senator Catherine Cortez Masto by 3.4 points. Cortez Masto ended up winning the election by less than a point. Similar trends were also seen in Michigan's gubernatorial race, in which Gretchen Whitmer defeated Republican Tudor Dixon by 10.6 points, despite the Real Clear Politics polling average projecting the former would win by only 1 point. These alarming trends have continued into 2023 and beyond. So that is from Sean Fleetwood from the Federalist. So when we talk about these polls, that's why you take them with a grain of salt, because every time it seems like a Republican should boat race the Democrat, they don't. Or if a Democrat is supposed to lose by X, they end up losing or winning by Y or Z. The other thing I wanted to mention was this New York Times article. Now, this is some good news. And, oh, by the way, it comes from the New York Times, an unexpected source. Republicans and Democrats are trading places at turnout In a reversal of one of the most familiar patterns in American politics, it appears that Donald J. Trump, not President Biden, would stand to gain if everybody in the country turned out and voted. In a New York Times Siena College poll over the last year, Mr. Biden holds a wide lead over Mr. Trump amongst regular, primary, and midterm voters. Yet he trails among the rest of the electorate, giving Trump a lead amongst registered voters overall. The pattern is the latest example of how the Trump brand of politics has transformed America. And they have basically come to the conclusion that disengaged voters do not necessarily like Mr. Trump, the polling shows, but they are motivated by pocketbook issues, more desiring of fundamental changes to the political system, and far less concerned about democracy as an issue in the election. Many low turnout voters, notably including many who consider themselves Democrats, now say they will back Donald J. Trump. So here's the thing. If the message on democracy and threats to democracy, which, by the way, we're a republic. I feel like everybody seems to forget that when you hear these little cliches like threat to democracy. And, you know, you can have a conversation. It's a deep dive. You want to go back and look at the Federalist Papers and James Madison and things like that. If you want to do a history lesson, you can do it and learn about that stuff. But I would say this. It really does feel to me like this is immigration and the economy against abortion and fear porn. That, to me, in a nutshell, is this election. But I got to tell you, if the New York Times is right with this, that is a great sign. And it goes to completely contradict what Sean writes for the Federalist with low Republican turnout. And what's my takeaway from the low Republican turnout? Here's the takeaway. Republicans right now love and will show up for Donald Trump. But I think a lot of Republicans, and I know there's the Never Trumpers, I know there's the Rhinos, I know there's 3 different factions within GOP politics. But I think now more than ever, American Republicans are not enthused by other Republican choices not named Donald Trump, which is why I think Nikki Haley was where she was. And I know she polled and she got 22, 23% here. And, you know, we can go back and forth, closed primary versus open primary. All of that's certainly a factor. All of that's certainly irrelevant. But think about it. As popular as DeSantis was and dominant as he was in Florida, he didn't catch on in America nationwide. Vivek Ramaswamy, social media not being real life, right? If you go on social media, you think Vivek Ramaswamy would serve 20 years as president. The guy got like 8% in polls, right? So I think this is, hey, it's ride or die with Trump. He's our guy. And there's just not a lot of people out there on the national presidential general election scene that get people motivated. But I don't think polling is an indicator of future success, nor do I think low turnout in the past is an indicator for this fall. I know we talk about people not being motivated to vote. I'm telling you right now, and this can be partisan as clear as day, Trump supporters, I think they can't wait to cast their ballot.
Agreed.
I think they are foaming at the mouth. Yes. Whether it's just to make life better again, whether it's payback or redemption from 4 years ago, we all have our certain motivations. But, Dawn, would you agree with that assessment?
100%. And I think that's why I worry about even this executive action plan by Biden today. My question is, well, does that mean that if he, by executive order, is saying that non-citizens who are married to a citizen can have a quicker pathway? Are they going to be able to vote? Mm-hmm. I think they're looking at every which way to get more votes. And then, 19 states and D.C., according to Republican leadership in those 19 states plus D.C., not Pennsylvania, but yes, Delaware, reportedly, all you need to go to register to vote is if you, for example, if you go to apply for, let's say, any kind of welfare, or you go to their DMV and you register to vote, but you're not showing proof of citizenship.
Uh-huh.
All of this greatly concerns me.
You know what also concerns me, and I know we got to get to the cut sheet next, but I'll just wrap by saying this. Did you guys see the video yesterday that was going up around the Supreme Court of the United States? There was a big fence that's being erected.
It's fake.
Oh, is it fake?
It's fake. Once again, stop getting your news from Benny Johnson. It's fake.
It wasn't from Benny Johnson. I saw it from like.
Yeah, well, he's the one who originated it.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll move on then.
I need to. Okay.
I'll find a way to
Read a newspaper.
vet my sources better.
Read a newspaper.
All right. 855-839-1210, 7 o'clock hour, brought to you by United Tire. If you drive a car and you want it to last and not cost you a ton in the long run, get your car to United Tire and Service. Visit one of their 10 locations throughout the Delaware Valley. Visit UnitedTire.com. That's UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United. The cut sheet coming up next as we continue. But first, a word from my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. Recently visited my friends at Piazza Mazda in Westchester to check out the Mazda 2024 CX-30. And when I test drove this and then I looked at the sticker price, I said, wow, this is probably the best bang you can get for your buck. And there's so many great options at Piazza. But if you want fuel efficiency, style, technology, a vehicle that'll be on the road for 250, 300,000 miles, this is the go-to. When it comes to performance, iActive all-wheel drive is standard, and the available turbocharged engine packs a surprising punch. Safety features such as blind spot monitoring and lane assist LED keep you safe, which is why the CX-30 has earned a 5-star overall safety rating. Visit Piazza Mazda in Westchester, Reading, or online at piazzamazda.com. Tell them Nick sent you.
Time! Great workout, Rock.
I'll hit the showers.
Not anymore, Rock. I went to Half Price Hot Tubs and got a nice hot tub and infrared sauna.
Hey, yo, Mick, how many rounds did you go to get that deal?
At Half Price Hot Tubs, you always get the best price on the best brands with more inventory than you have sequels.
I'll get one for me and Buckus.
Half Price Hot Tub sale ends soon. Save an additional $500 and get our unique chemical-free system at 0% financing.
A tasty new game is coming your way. Test your skills in Kirby's Quick Run at Tastykake.com. Help Kirby the Crimpet collect all of the Tasty Cake treats. Play now to enter our sweepstakes for a chance to win exclusive prizes. Increase your chances of winning by playing every day. And don't forget to celebrate National Crimpet Day on July 7th by snagging some limited edition confetti crimpets in stores now. Tasty Cake, accept no substitutes.
Hey, this is Ray Didinger. I had the opportunity to open the new Joe Conklin show. It was sensational. It includes all the impressions, Iverson, Merrill, and Mike Barkley. He brought in this whole musical component with a full orchestra. It's really good. His daughter Casey's part of it. His brother's part of it. They can rock it, boy. So you got all the music, plus you got all the comedy. It's a great night.
That's Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at Wildwood Catholic High School on June 29th and the Ocean City Music Pier on July 13th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com.
I joke around and with my wife and call it my bionic knee.
But before Ernest became a patient with QC Kinetics, it was a different story.
I'd go to bed with my knee throbbing, heat, ice. I would get up in the middle of the night to get a drink or something, and I would just be hobbling.
He wasn't able to play on his rec basketball team or work in the yard. But QC Kinetics regenerative treatments turned around the situation without surgery or downtime, using Ernest's own healing properties to help restore his aching knee, now known as Ernest's bionic knee.
I am really happy because I am playing the game that I love so much, and I'm playing with my granddaughter, and I'm gardening, and I'm on my knees, and I'm jumping up. I have a 200-pound dog, and I'm playing with my dog.
Now Ernest is living his best life thanks to QC Kinetics, and so can you. Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
The odds of winning the lottery are 1 in 302 million. Here's a better bet. Turn to Work Money. We're a nonprofit here to help keep more money in your pocket. Start saving now at workmoney.org.
Here's retirement phase expert Phil Cannella with today's report.
Have you ever wondered or even considered the difference between credited interest returns and gains on Wall Street? One you get to keep and control. The other one comes and goes. We're going to analyze investors' returns on the S&P 500 from 2000 to 2015, and then we're going to compare them to a certificate of deposit only compounding at 2% during that same time period. Using data curated by Delbar Corporation, which is this country's leading analytic firm over Wall Street, investors only averaged a total of 2.66% per year from 2000 to 2015. Now, this does indicate that $100,000 invested in the year 2000 through 2015 has grown to an estimated $128,000 or less when you consider the fees in one's portfolio. But you also must remember how much time was lost during that 15-year period. You grew it, you lost it, now you have to regrow it. Now that's being victimized by Wall Street and the two market crashes and then waiting to recover your lost gains. Now had the same investor put $100,000 in a certificate of deposit with a compounding interest rate of 2% from 2000 to 2015, that investor's principal would have grown to $135,000 with no fees, no market loss, and no lost growth time. Now, knowing the difference between credited interest returns and gains that are vulnerable to market risk and fees can shield you from the dangers of Wall Street so you can enjoy a retirement with peace of mind. Stop losing time with Wall Street and start gaining time in your retirement.
To hear more reports that will impact your financial future, join Phil Cannella and Joanne Small this Saturday at 11 a.m. on the Crash Proof Retirement Show, only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Don't let woke win. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
Oh, a little Chumbawamba, tub thumping on a Tuesday.
What?
That's the name of the song.
Yeah.
Tub thumping.
Tub thumping.
Circa 1997. Used to blare this when I was 13.
Drink.
Yeah. Tub thumping. That's something Meatball used to do when she was on TikTok.
You know, all the great music that came out of the 90s, there was also terrible music that came out of the 90s.
This is a question for you and Phil Almquist.
Yeah.
Was not the 90s the decade of the most notable one-hit wonders? Or was there a decade that had better one-hit
That's a
wonders?
great question. I think the 80s was more of the decade of one-hit wonders.
Chumbawamba. My gosh. Oh, we got a lot of good things to get to. We're going to have a very good conversation coming up after the cut sheet on social media because the U.S. Surgeon General now saying there should be a mental health warning from the government when it pertains to social media. We'll get to that coming up just over an hour from now. But 7:48, let's get to a Tuesday edition of What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Tuesday is brought to you by Cherry Hill Volvo, where they have amazingly competitive pricing, plus an additional $1,000 discount on all new Volvos. Cherry Hill Volvo is where relationships really do matter. Judith Yosef and the entire team look forward to meeting you. Check them out over at 70 in Cherry Hill. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. I know we did this yesterday, but I have to play it again because of what Karine Jean-Pierre said yesterday about this clip of Joe Biden and Barack Obama. Now, there's a bunch of different videos of this floating around on the internet. One, which looked like whatever the broadcast was, like the professional version, didn't show Obama grabbing Biden by the arm. The one that we have does.
Okay.
And the White House is going around saying that these are deep fakes and all this nonsense. When we have the video right in front of us, and Barack Obama is clearly leading him backstage by the hand.
Yeah.
I'm going to play this one more time, Phil, if you will grab this one more time. This was cut one from yesterday. Go. See, I know it's a little far away, but you can see it.
Yeah.
They're waving.
Yep.
Biden freezes.
Yep.
Biden freezes there.
Yep. He's not moving for 5 seconds.
And then Obama grabs him and leads him backstage.
Yeah. Obama kind of laughs nonchalantly and waves again, and then he pats him on the back.
What's fake news?
There's nothing fake about that.
What's fake about that?
So let's think about what our news cycle is now, because of what we just had last segment, where Benny Johnson and these other grifters post videos from 2022 and say they're new and they're developing and they're breaking news when they're not, and then I regurgitated it and in passing, and it's not real. So you can't trust the mainstream media, right? CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, the Washington Post, all that. You can't trust these conservative grifters whose whole life is revolving around taking things out of context or posting dated videos. And then when you see something in real life with your own two eyes, the White House press secretary goes up there and says, it's a fake. It's a deep fake. It's a cheap fake.
So Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about this yesterday, okay? And this is cut 15, Phil. She's saying that the RNC distributes unfiltered, unedited, and publicly, basically saying they're deep fakes.
Okay.
This is cut 15 from yesterday. Phil, go.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more and more.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video.
They're deep fakes.
They are done in bad faith.
Bad faith.
And some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right-wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation, and so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation. And I'll quote the Washington Post, where they wrote about this, and they said how Republicans use misleading videos to attack Biden in a 24-hour period. And to their credit, we have a conservative Washington Examiner did call them out as well, calling out the New York Post. Ironically, several recent cheap fakes actually attacked the president for thanking troops. That is what they're attacking the president for. Both in Normandy this happened, and again in Italy. And I think that it tells you everything that we need to know about how desperate Republicans are here. And instead of talking about the president's performance in office, and what I mean by that is his legislative wins, what he's been able to do for the American people across the country, we're seeing these deep fakes, these manipulated videos, and it is, again, done in bad faith.
There's nothing manipulated about that video.
None whatsoever. And if you want to talk about bad faith or any of those buzzwords like misinformation and disinformation, by the way, you want to criticize the New York Post? Okay, knock yourself out. How did that laptop story pan out?
Yeah.
I heard for 6 years that was disinformation, Karine. So, look, there's disinformation on both sides. And I think at the end of the day, taking off any partisan hat, it's done by design. In this day and age of social media, both parties love this because both parties can keep the constituents of this country guessing as to what is real and what is not. But let's not, if you want to throw barbs, and oh, by the way, Karine, if you want to talk about the president's performance, we can talk about performance because the performance has been so bad, they're not campaigning. When's the last time the Biden administration has campaigned for re-election on any issue short of abortion? Mm-hmm. Short of abortion, what policy or success or campaign ad have they had?
It's a great.
They don't have one.
It's literally what they're what they're running on. By the way, the former talk show host here, 40 Morning Drive guy here, put up on his Facebook page today or yesterday that this video is a Rorschach test of what side you're on. It's not. It's absolutely crap to say that Obama wasn't leading him by the hand. That is not happening. You could actually make the argument. That this is that the video that was released, like the professional video, was more edited than that one because it didn't show it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, no, you're right. And I'm sure there's probably been that condensed version on CNN and MSNBC, to your point exactly. Yeah, it's irrefutable. I mean, how many people showed up at that gala at the Staples Center? I think it was 26,000 people.
Yeah.
Which also, by the way, think about that. I thought about this yesterday. So we're breaking down on Monday's show the two candidates. Trump goes to Detroit and Biden goes to Hollywood. I want you to think, and again, this is not an indicator of what the election will actually result in. But Trump can get thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people to show up that vote for him. You ever notice that nobody shows up for a Joe Biden gathering unless they're basically invited or forced to attend? Like when Joe does like a rally, it looks like a spelling bee. But the only time he gets a big crowd is when these A-list Hollywood celebs show up for a $5,000 a plate fundraiser.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
Which, by the way, do you think the Democrats in the Biden administration, do they have to pay Kimmel to show up? Or is Kimmel so obsessed with hating Trump that he shows up pro bono?
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
I've wondered that as well.
I bet they paid him.
I bet they did too.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
But
why would he do anything for free?
But I don't know why.
Why should any of you?
Because they hate Trump.
I don't know why you would debate this. This was just a tender moment between friends because, when Nick Kayal and Greg Stocker see each other, they'll often take each other by the hand.
Especially to the party.
To the parking garage, to events.
Dawn, it's almost like you know where I'm going here.
Tender moment.
It's almost like you know where I'm going here. This is cut 16. Why Obama was physically guiding Biden off the stage in Hollywood. This was Karine Jean-Pierre's answer. Cut 16, Phil, go.
President Obama's office put out a statement, so I would refer you to that statement about what was being accused in those by others, and he said this did not happen in the sense of what people were saying they were seeing, right, or what was being falsely reported that they were seeing. Let's not forget, President Obama, President Biden have a relationship. They are friends. They're like family to each other. And I think that's what you saw. You saw the president put his hand on the back of President Biden, and they walked off the stage.
Karine, has Obama and Joe ever been seen together at Martha's Vineyard? Have they ever been seen together at the Hamptons? Does Joe invite Barack down to Delaware for Thanksgiving dinner? No, I actually think they both genuinely dislike each other. Maybe hate's a strong word. Maybe that's out of character, and it's the wrong way to frame it. I don't think they like each other. And never forget, and this is not a deep fake or a cheap fake, Barack Obama, quote, never underestimate Joe's ability to F things up.
Yep.
What do you, not to be like an Obama apologist, but I'm trying to think inside of his head. What do you think goes through Obama's mind as kind of like the middleman between the Clinton era and the Biden era? Here's Obama, who was in office for 8 years. Obama's got a big following. We talk about, if Michelle decided to run, there's a lot of people that really love Michelle Obama because they dislike Kamala Harris. So on one side, Obama's probably like, all right, the Clintons, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, the Obamas are in that conversation as well. But, Hillary got dunked on by Trump. And then this guy gets in and he's like, man, my Veep for 8 years has been an unmitigated disaster. He probably feels like, and Obama probably has like a massive ego to begin with. But being the guy that was successful next to Hillary, who lost, and Joe, who's been a total loser, like he probably sits back and says, man, I'm the greatest thing the Democrats have had in 30 years.
That's right.
He probably really believes that.
I will say this too. The New York Post, the attacks on the Post, the original post on at least Twitter or X on social media, the New York Post wrote, Biden appears to freeze up.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And they wrote it properly,
Yes.
much like
100%.
earlier when Greg said something was fake news. And I said, no, reportedly something is. They correctly say he appears to freeze up. Has to be let off by Obama, but they wrote the word appears.
Yeah.
They didn't say it as fact.
Right.
They're saying they're tweeting out, the video, the images, and letting you decide for yourself.
Yeah,
Dawn
appears, not absolutely did, but appears.
Dawn is trying to spin her fake news report. I see what you're doing, my love. I'm just kidding. Obviously, I'm just kidding. I do this because I care.
No, I think
I'm going to need to have a meeting with myself. I am going to, actually. I need to have many meetings with myself. Dr. Anthony Fauci was on his book tour last night. He started off on the Rachel Maddow show. As we know, 10 a.m. today during the Dawn show, they were going to the Senate a Senate panel is going to discuss the origins of the lab leak theory. So I'm glad we're doing this. I'm glad we're getting to the bottom of this, hopefully. But Fauci was off yesterday trying to spin it in his way before the Senate panel here. It's no coincidence, by the way, that he got out there before the Senate panel hearing tomorrow.
Oh, it's all
today.
orchestrated.
Today.
Absolutely.
100%. I'm going to start here with cut 22, Phil. Go.
Members of Congress who were shouting at you the other day in that hearing. They have accused you of creating the COVID vaccine. Right. They have accused you of covering up the real story that the virus was essentially deliberately or at least accidentally created. Right. Could you respond to those claims?
Yeah, well, they're preposterous because we don't know what the origin of this virus is. It either somehow came out of a lab where Chinese scientists went into the environment and got infected and played with it and came out, or it was a natural spillover from an animal to a human in the Wuhan market. I keep a completely open mind.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, thank you.
The virological evidence, the epidemiological evidence by most qualified virologists strongly favor, though not definitively, strongly favor that it is a natural occurrence. But since it isn't definitive, I keep an open mind. What they say that's incorrect is that the NIH funded a grant in China, an indirect grant, funded a firm in New York that did a subaward to do some surveillance studies on what is out there, which is a perfectly appropriate thing to do. In fact, I would probably be held as being incompetent if we didn't do that. As it turns out, the viruses that were being studied under the NIH grant are evolutionarily, or we say phylogenetically, a big word, so distant from SARS-CoV-2 that there's no chance in the world that somebody could make that virus turn into SARS-CoV-2. So this attack that you funded a project that turned into COVID is completely preposterous. And anybody that knows anything about virology will say that it's so distant that the precursor virus could not possibly turn in even if you tried.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, God, that voice makes my stomach turn.
Sorry.
I thought I was done hearing from that guy. Number two, Dr. Robert Redfield, he's in the same stratosphere as Tony Fauci. He's got a completely different theory as to what happened, but for some reason, Fauci just dismisses what Redfield says. And oh, by the way, you say virologists almost unanimously say, well, that's not true because I just mentioned the Redfield factor, but multiple federal agencies have done their research and their report, and they have said it is highly likely or more likely than not that this was created in a lab. And I believe Redfield, it's either Redfield or somebody else. I could be wrong on the person. But I remember them going through the different genome sequences of the virus. And I forget the terminology for it. I think it's the sequences. They came to the conclusion that that was not a spillover from species to species, that had to be tinkered with and created based on the sequence of all this, genetic stuff and all this other virology stuff that's way over my head. It had to be created by a human being. And this guy's out here spinning it, and Matt, I was just like, I drink my cup of coffee. All right. You're a savior, Mr. Fauci. You saved millions of lives.
Hopefully we get some answers today from the. I'm afraid we won't.
Well, I want to hear the thing specifically that I want to hear is about how the vaccine is apparently or allegedly causing these turbo cancers, because there's a lot of people that are in this country now that are dealing with like these rapidly accelerating cancer rates. Some of it could be vaccine related, although I read something yesterday, which is another reason why I'm going to ditch energy drinks. The rise in colon cancer in this country being linked to energy drinks.
I saw that.
Not good if true.
I be skeptical of that. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just going to start drinking. I'm just going to start drinking a coffee after the nap instead of the Red Bull. Probably be better for me.
Do you notice everything really turns back to a Will Smith movie, I Am Legend? Mm-hmm. Wasn't that the focus of the movie, that the 100%. Vaccination turned them into like vampire dog people? Mm-hmm.
And he was
remember that? He's in the bathtub.
He's
in the bathtub with the dog.
He's a German Shepherd.
Remember?
He's a little bite boy. And then he has to kill his dog because his dog got infected.
After Rachel Maddow, Anthony Fauci went over to the Late Show with Stephen Colbert for another hard-hitting interview. By the way, like, I would love for him to go on like a real show. You know what I mean? Like, not somebody who's gonna just
maybe Jimmy Fallon
suck his
wow
his toes. You know,
yeah.
him and his toes.
Yeah, right.
He's been out with Neil Cavuto.
Speaking of former hosts on this radio station.
Ew.
Who?
Neil Cavuto.
Dick.
I'm sorry, what?
Morris.
Okay.
Oh.
You mentioned toe sucking.
Yeah, no, I was just saying.
Toes and sucking, and I heard the word Richard. Man.
A lot happening here.
Bruno's not even here yet.
Tony's like, what's happening?
Let's put this all together for a best of clip, I think.
There's a promo.
Good God. Yes, so he was talking about how viruses jumping from animals to humans. It's not unusual. It happens all the time. It's what gave us HIV/AIDS, according to Fauci. Cut 23, Phil, go.
And conspiracy has such a big part of the public conversation right now, seeing patterns where none exist.
Yes.
Or adding things together into conspiracy that is unlikely. For instance, there's a belief and being pushed by some of the people who are questioning in Congress about the idea that your approval of a grant that went to a company that gave some of the money to the Wuhan lab created.
Hang on a second. Do you notice that it's the same? It's the same questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's the same questions.
It's the car wash. It's the same car
Rinse,
wash
repeat.
with just mostly.
Yep.
Yeah. This is what they do in the mainstream media.
And it's not. Donna realizes this too. And by the way, he's a late night show host. I'm not expecting him to be, Tim Russert. But if you're going to have an interview with this guy, then interview him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not framed as a question. It's like, all these kooks out here thinking that you're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you respond to those kooks?
Right. They're all leading questions.
Exactly.
They're all meant to prop him up.
Yep.
Phil,
please continue. Go.
Use gain of function to change the nature, the virality of certain coronaviruses that became COVID-19, so you're to blame for COVID-19.
Yes, and I also did it so I could make $1 billion from the vaccines.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you already had a deal with like Pfizer and Moderna and AstraZeneca and everything.
Right. Yeah.
So how much of that is true? 90%, 95%? Give me a round number. Could the coronavirus have been developed at Wuhan as part of a gain of function study?
Well, not from the grant that was given by the NIH to study the viruses.
Not the one that
they
I
were
was
studying.
dealing with.
The nature of those viruses that was studied
not from my
were
grant.
evolutionarily so far distant from what turned out to be SARS-CoV-2 that no matter what you did with those viruses, you would not be able to do that. That doesn't mean that somewhere in China it is conceivable that someone may have been working on something, bringing it out from the environment. That's the reason why we keep an open mind as to what the cause of it is.
Okay, so why? So that's it. Okay, so a lot of controversy about what the cause or what the origin of it is. A, why is it so important that we know? And B, is there anything new that we've learned recently?
No, well, first of all, it's important to know because you want to make sure you put into place things that would prevent that from happening again. So since we unlikely will know because of the real dissociation of any cooperation between China and the United States.
Their processes over there are a black box to us.
Yeah. I mean, we're not, and the hostility between the countries is such that there's not going to be cooperation. So if you say it's one or the other, it's either a lab leak or it's a natural occurrence. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, and in the opinion of most virologists who understand the process, it is much more likely, though not definitive, that it was a natural occurrence from jumping from an animal into a human at the Wuhan market. But since it's not definitive, there's still a possibility that somewhere in China something was going on where people brought in a virus from the environment and it escaped from the lab. So given that there are two possibilities, the way to do it is try to prevent both of those possibilities from happening again. Put better constraints on the kinds of experiments, make sure that there's good facilities to do it, people are well trained, and do something about the animal-human interface because it is 75 to 80% of the new viruses, infections that come out are what we call zoonotic. They jump from an animal model, an animal reservoir, to a human. We saw that with HIV/AIDS. We've seen that with influenza. We see that with Ebola. So that's not something that is unusual. That happens a fair amount.
Oh, my God. I mean, if Colbert was really interested in interviewing him, he could ask him about China and the history of population control in that nation, the fact that they have slave camps still. Is it conceivable that an evil nation like China could do something like this? Or maybe it just got out accidentally. Maybe it wasn't released and unleashed on society by design, and they tried to cover their tracks. But I love how he frames it as, well, not the NIH, not specifically what we were doing with our grants. And
it was somebody else.
It was another grant recipient.
It was those other guys.
It was those other guys that have been funding gain of function research in covert labs. By the way, I would much rather do what I do for a living, make a nice, comfortable living, have some left-wingers say that I'm a maniac, and still be able to look at myself in the mirror each night and have some self-respect, than be Stephen Colbert making $22 million a year and being a total puppet. I'm much more comfortable and happy with my career path than that bozo. God, he's awful. He's not even funny.
What about his paycheck?
I would skip the pay. I'll take this paycheck and my self-respect.
Okay.
I would not be puppeting what he's doing.
At least you could sleep at night, right?
At least I can sleep at night after 2 doubles.
It's gonna get worse when your family gets here.
It really is.
We know you're excited.
He's basically you've been a bachelor for like almost 2 years, dude.
I know.
You're envious, aren't you, Gregory?
Yeah, your days in that apartment complex with the workout room.
Days of watching The Five are over.
That's right.
Oh, by the way,
gone,
you guys
buddy.
are going to love this.
No, we're not.
Stalker, especially, you're going to love this. My wife said when we get up here, she goes, if I catch you posting too much on social media, I'm going to break your fingers.
Thank God.
That's a quote. That's a quote.
The enforcer.
Thank you.
That's a quote.
Well, I was going to have a conversation with you anyway about posting things and just can you wait for just to repost the videos that are put out by our, instead of like yesterday, you put out the video of that U-turn thing, right, over the weekend because you needed to be first. But then, like, you should have just waited until we discussed it on Monday and then retweeted the video from the radio station. That's what I'm saying. Instead of,
Just threaten to break my fingers and it'll stop.
Wow.
Look, this is the most honest show on radio. I'm going to say it again. This is the most honest show on radio. We pull no punches here. Thank you very much. All right, one more from the Fouch. His relationship with President Trump.
Oh, boy.
Got 24, Phil. Go.
In the beginning, I had a very complicated relationship with President Trump. In the very beginning, we got along very well. I write in the book, I don't know whether it's because, 2 guys from New York, him from Queens, me from Brooklyn, that we kind of understood each other. And we got along very, very well early on. It was only when what he was saying and began to say, because he wanted so much for this thing to go away, that he was saying things that were incorrect. And I felt strongly, though it was not comfortable for me to do it, although the people who attacked me think I did it to sort of tear him down. It was not, because I have a great deal of respect for the presidency of the United States, that I had to contradict him publicly because he was saying things that were not correct. Once that happened, then both he and mostly his staff, not so much the president, but the staff, I became, anathema, persona non grata.
They were coming up with like Oppo research against you and feeding it to the press.
It was most unusual that I was working in the White House and the communications people in the White House were doing opposition research about telling the public about I'm usually wrong in what I say. That's sort of like weird.
Wow.
Well,
that horrible laugh.
I know. What's not weird is that now we look back 4 years later, and Fauci kind of swung and missed on a lot of things, as did a bunch of those NIH, CDC clowns, masking, social distancing. We just kind of made it up on the fly. We've talked about a lot of this. Obviously, ivermectin was labeled this, and then we find out that it's actually X and, relatively good and blah, blah, blah. The only thing, I'm thinking back to the pandemic, and I revisionist history, like that's why I said when we were in primary season, who handled COVID better? Was it DeSantis or Trump? To me, the bottom line was Republicans handled it better than Democrats did. The only thing that made me roll my eyes during 2020 was when Trump came out early on, and this was March or April, and he was like, yeah, this thing will be gone by Easter. I was just like, come on, man. Like, but that's Trump. But like, if you're gonna like hold that against him and say he's anti-science, see, but here's where he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't, right? Like, well, he doesn't trust science, and he benched Fauci, and he was only worried about his re-election bid, and then you get Operation Warp Speed, which he was obviously a part of. So now we're not going to give him credit for that because, well, now that the vaccine shows that you can get myocarditis or it might be linked to cancer. So he can't win either way. And, oh, by the way, there are some Republicans that rip Trump for pushing the vaccine and then coming out and saying, well, after I got COVID and I was vaccinated, it's a good vaccine. So, like, COVID is just one of these things where I think when you look back at it, it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And I just don't think it really matters in 2024, short of the freedoms they took away from us.
But I think it's a shame that we cannot have the conversation about what did happen.
Oh, yeah.
Which was that Trump did something that was unprecedented. Operation Warp Speed.
Yep.
Remember, I mean, Jared Kushner was in part, he was here in Philadelphia. He was across the country working with doctors, public-private partnership, $10 billion in congressional funding. Congress had to go, had to make sure they passed that bipartisan legislation. So it was the Congress too. But what Trump did there, that public-private relationship to try to incentivize these companies to come up with a vaccine to mitigate the illness, and that's what it ultimately did. It did mitigate for people who had compromised immunity. And to me, I think that what happened with Fauci was Trump was hearing from guys like Dr. Redfield and others, and Trump's BS meter was going off the charts, his spidey senses going off the charts, and he started calling out Fauci's BS and saying, why is this guy doing this? To me, that's what happened. And so it's a shame that now we have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. We're not allowed to talk about the achievement of Trump, which was Operation Warp Speed. That was incredible because we now know that for many people with compromised immunity, and especially for the elderly or elderly not like my dad, but elderly with other comorbidities, etc., it was a life-changing, game-changing situation.
Okay.
But to say that everybody needed the vaccine, that we needed to shut everything down, that made no sense.
Yep.
I agree. We got a tweet from Toy Mater. I don't know if this is true. YouTube stream unavailable.
It is
Did
down.
we get yanked down?
Get
over to the app, folks.
We got flagged. Apparently, they don't like us making fun of Dr. Fauci.
Oh.
You know what I bet it is?
Being
I bet
shadow banned on YouTube.
I bet it's the Chumbawamba song that we came back from. Seriously.
Yes, we will. Phil, Henry, somebody, Austin, somebody, can you get us back up at some point on the YouTube thing? Just start a new thread, I guess. Okay. Odyssey app. Odyssey.
Oh, wait. So when I started talking and calling it out, is that when it went down?
I believe so.
Ha.
I believe so. Look,
Good.
Dawn, you are a threat to democracy.
I know. There you go.
It's unbelievable to me. It really is. By the way, if you're listening right now on the Odyssey app, please hit the follow button. Please make sure you hit the follow button at 1210 WPHT. It may not seem like a lot to you, but it is. It does wonders for us.